Why, hello.
How are you tonight, Bill?
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
And so we're up live right now, too. We're just waiting for somebody to get in here. It looks like we have somebody in here.
Good, good.
Looks like we have Espio in here. It's been a
All right.
while. It's been a while since I had happen to me what happened to me today. But I'm used to it. I've lost, what, three, four other channels along the way.
Oh, wow.
I posted a video up today. Okay, it didn't even make an hour. And I'd sent the link over to Nick after I'd had it posted, and I was chatting with Hayden Rose and Dave when Nick typed me back on Zoom here and says, "It's been taken down." And I was, "What?" And I went over there and looked. Oh, yeah, YouTube yanked that bitch right on down. Didn't even last an hour. And so the pic that I use for this live stream is a man and a woman image with a wall in between them, keeping them divided. Okay, because the story, the video that was there was a news report. Okay, wasn't here in America, but it's not that far from America.
Where is it?
Okay,
Ecuador, I think.
Panama or something like that. I had to bring up the name again. Yeah, in Panama. Okay, it's in Panama. And they've got the well, we know we have the corona going around, right?
Right.
And so what they've done is they've decided because people wasn't listening and wasn't staying in their homes that everybody has to stay in their houses, that 3 days of the week only women can go out into the streets and go shopping at the grocery store and come home. And then 3 days, the opposite days of the week, the men can go out. On one day a week, nobody goes out. So they're calling it a curfew by gender. So now we've decided that on the days that people are allowed to leave, go to the store, we're going to do it by gender.
Right. And I bet you, Bill, they're gonna start it. You're gonna see this pop up in the media in North America, and they're gonna refer to it as, oh, should we follow the Panama model? Then a month later, you'll see they'll it'll lead in. This will be the sort of the soft lead into the divide of the genders. I mean, it's already happened for us guys living TFL. We know what to expect from it, but this is right in your face.
Oh, it is. See, this is it. People don't pay attention when they created the movie. Okay, well, you're on a live stream now, so. When they decided to go ahead and they put that movie out in 1984. Okay, I don't know how many people's watched George Orwellian's 1984, but that movie was basically based on what they want once they get NWO all the way in place. They predicted the society, okay, and it's close to China, so but it's in around that area. As you know, when you look back at the Georgia Guidestones and you look at 500 million globally alive, and to never rise above that number again, to get it down to 5 million or 500 million is going to be killing one heck of a lot of people off, okay? For when you're talking on a global scale. So, but to
I think, Bill,
never,
I think they're going to start with. It's possible. I mean, I'm speculating, but it's possible this virus was released intentionally because they had the knowledge that it would disproportionately kill off senior people, seniors who the elite would view as a ultimate drain on society, because the elites have chosen to print their way out of 2008 and just drown our countries in all this debt that they can't afford. So they're thinking, oh, what's one way to pay this back? Oh, we just kill off the seniors because they're a burden on society.
Well, before World War One and before World War Two, they went after the seniors, the handicapped, and the homeless.
That's it, handicapped as well, Bill, because
Okay, so it comes down to every time throughout history, before any big thing happened like a war or something, society's always gone after elderly, handicapped, homeless, okay? And these are the people they first off they caught and killed and they didn't even give a chance, and then they of course kill each other off. But the I think the reason they booted me earlier today, they claimed copyright, but there was no copyright. That's fair use all day long. Believe me, I know. I've lost several channels and I've had freaking my channel taken down with no strikes and no videos removed. They just removed my own channel. Okay. They didn't give me no warning, no nothing in my email, no nothing from YouTube. Okay. Nothing to sign that I had a warning or nothing. Just they just removed the video. It's obvious they don't want people seeing it during this situation that's going on. Okay, they
Mhm.
didn't want people noticing that. So that's why they removed it. Okay, so what am I gonna do? What's you gonna say? I
Yeah, I don't know. Could that how could that be an algorithm be so it's really this whole thing's really bizarre with the video removal. If you noticed Steve's stream yesterday, Bill sort of awkwardly froze at the end. At the I think it was the 3 hour 3 minute mark. Now he had his stream later in the night, so not a lot of people caught that. But and I don't know whether he edited it from the end of the video to make it more concise. But there was a period of like 10 minutes where we were it was in the SPO was in the middle of saying something interesting, and then it just kind of froze. So I don't know.
it could be you. Well, some of that could be we have abundance of people that are no longer working that are at home and the internet's getting overloaded.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's definitely one plausible. I'm not saying it's 100% the
Yeah,
reason.
because
Because I
I'm
mean,
sure right
this is a
now,
very deep
yeah.
pocketed company, Google and YouTube. You'd think they'd have the infrastructure to
Well, I
cope with.
think I think they have a good infrastructure to cope, but we've never had a test. They've never had a test run like this now, have they?
Very
Where
true. Very
where
true. It
you
is
got people
unprecedented.
all over the world literally because of this, and they're all whether they're bored and they got the internet, they're all going online, and you get overwhelmed. I think is what's going on. So I think that's at least some of why I think that people are having a little bit of trouble. But like the removal of the video today, it didn't even last an hour on my channel after I posted it up. And it wasn't like I wasn't showing anything that I've known was coming. When
Right.
people want to think that the division of the genders in TFL was accidentally, no. There's a reason TFL has always been the big white elephant in the room, okay? And most of that has to do with the social engineering machine for divide and conquer. The biggest divide that's ever happened is the divide of the genders,
Right.
okay? Because that's on a global scale, that's massive, okay? And now on a global scale, we have a pandemic and we're using it to grab our rights while we're all divided. And so to have a country decide to divide the genders by curfew is just complete insanity, but it is where we're going. This is what people ain't really understanding, I think, is this is where we're headed. You're going to
Right.
have men and women who ain't, in Orwellian's 1984, it was actually illegal to have a relationship. And they literally had millions and millions of cameras everywhere, just like China. Now, the reason it's illegal to have a relationship, of course, is because then you're not making babies.
Wow.
See, these people want the ultimate control. They want to be able to tell people who can have a baby, who can't have a baby. Okay, the whole 9 yards. They want to totally control the birth ratio. Okay, to keep the number to never rise above again. And there's only one reason these psychopaths at the top would want that, because they fear the people rising up and stopping them.
Right. I mean, I hear a lot of people. You'll even hear alternative content producers. These small fries channels. If you listen to some of their content closely, you'll hear people promoting eugenics, and I think this is exactly what the elite want. This is one of their
It
um,
is. It is.
sort of the prongs of their strategy to kind of hold society hostage, so to sort of turn everything into this corporate oligarchy.
Well, unfortunately, you would be correct on that, because the fact is they don't want genders together. They didn't divide us by accident. They're not pushing the transsexual gay agenda across the globe for nothing. Okay? They don't want men and women together, because that means babies being born, and they don't want that. They want to drop the population, and they want to drop it to the numbers they want. They're dead serious about it. People who think
Right.
that's a joke's got another thing coming. If you think that Trump is really sending our troops to the Caribbeans because we're fighting the war on drugs, that's a complete crock of crap. First off, the war on drugs has always been fraudulent. It's always been your very own government, CIA, piping the drugs into this country and protecting certain entities they hand it to, and everybody under them gets arrested and locked up. So they're making the
Mhm.
best of it. They're making all this money off the drugs, and then they're making prison slave labor out of you for locking you up for having what they brought in. And then meanwhile, they report they're fighting to keep the drugs out where they're bringing them in. So no, they didn't deploy our troops to the Caribbeans for that reason. And they're not telling the people what they're really doing. You don't hear nothing about the wars or anything going on your television set. That stopped after Obama.
Yeah.
Okay, and because you're not hearing these reports, you got to go dig. You have to dig to find anything, and then you got to be careful on what you're being told, even in the reports online, because they're going to be filled with propaganda. Okay, but I guarantee you, we're not going to the Caribbeans because of the war on drugs. We're going to the Caribbeans for something else. I
Right.
think this agenda is pretty well drawn out. The gal that was up to Trump yesterday, that got up there and spoke, the short gal, I think she slept up. She mentioned 6 months. I think that 6 months is lockdown. I wouldn't be surprised if we go into 2021, being the election being over before we see the end of what's going on right now. And by the time that end comes, I think the United States won't be the same no more. There's gonna be so many changes, and I think your rights are stripped away. I think this is just my personal sarcasm opinion on this next statement, okay? The reason they're giving everybody money is because they're buying your freedoms from you, your rights, and you don't even know they are. But of course, because I didn't sign no agreement to sell my rights, my God given rights, over to a pack of criminals, a pack of psychopaths, I don't give a about it, because the fact is, this is what's going on. You got a country that's willing to divide their genders and tell them that only women can go in this to come out of their house on these 3 days. Men can come out of their house on the other 3 days, and one day nobody can come out of their house. And if they don't obey, they're facing fine and jail time. Well, we've already heard reports of certain states around the United States already threatening fines and jail time. I already know of a story overseas where a girl actually got 6 months in jail for not obeying. Okay, you better obey, because you're going to be dangerous to everybody else with something that nobody can still back up one death. Everybody's got a C story about somebody that knows somebody of somebody. Well, every time anything that's fraudulent happens, it's always somebody has a friend that knows somebody of somebody. But if you ever ask them to produce evidence, that can never be done. because nobody ever had a friend. And, and this so called corona is the same thing. The numbers grow every day, and every day while they grow, it's still nobody knows nobody. And now I believe they're using crisis actors, and I knew they would.
Yeah, it says here, provinces say fines arrest people who don't distance or self-isolate. So I mean, it's a ramping up everywhere. Oh,
Oh,
my
it is. It
connection is
is.
off.
I see Hayden's in the chat. Hello there, Hayden. You know.
Did you miss what I said? I think my connection. It said my connection was unstable.
Oh, that happens off and on, but no, I didn't miss it. You're here.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay.
No, I haven't lost you. You're still in the stream. So, if somebody asks who I'm speaking to, well, this would be Drunk Hulk. Hayden knows Drunk Hulk.
Hayden, how's it going, man?
I mean, if Hayden wants to come in here, I won't stop him.
Oh, I thought he had just joined the chat. All right.
No, he's in the chat itself. He just typed
I'm
"Hey
not.
Bill."
Yeah, I'm not judging. I was a little over schedule. I was finishing up my dinner and then I joined. We started a bit late, but it's all good.
Well, not really. I mean, I normally do Saturday Night Live tomorrow. Today's Friday, but everybody's home. Nobody's got nothing to do, and
Oh, it felt like Saturday to me.
well, that's what happens when you're not working.
I can't even get my day straight. Oh, look at this. What am I
I
doing?
don't mind it. The show's tomorrow night, but I know everybody's out of work and people are home right now. So
Well, it goes to show that maybe I think some of us we have an unhealthy there's too much of a fixation on work in North America. I'm not saying that work by itself is evil or earning money. You have to be able to provide for yourself, but I think there's almost too much of a competitive focus on consumerism.
oh yeah, I see Hayden joined us now. See, now he's in the chat with us.
Hey, Bill.
Hello,
Hey, Drunk
Hayden.
Hulk. How are
Welcome,
you guys
Hayden.
doing?
How goes it?
It goes, man. Trying to figure
Yeah.
out why the hell it's 41 degrees in Texas in the middle of April.
Huh.
I wouldn't put it past the military to be using social engineering on the clouds. ARP.
Geoengineering, yes.
That's right. We've had that technology to change the weather. We can create hurricanes. We can steer them. We can create storms. We can stop tornadoes right in their track, or we can create them. That's been proven a billion times over already. And anybody that thinks that we don't got that technology and we're not using it is still asleep, and they need to get their alarm clock and wake the hell up.
It's a degree warmer up in the GTA. Degree warmer than where you are. Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I
I personally wouldn't put it past them, Hayden, to be using that kind of stuff to keep the major cities that are locked down, to make it so people don't want to go out.
Yeah. I think that's what they're doing. I mean, I want to go out, but I haven't seen the sun in like 7 damn days here in Texas.
Yeah. I was telling Drunk Hulk and people in here, because I had a couple people already asked me, what happened to my stream earlier? How come that video got taken down? And and I'm like, well, Hayden and I were talking with Dave when it got taken down. They were here when talking to me when I discovered it.
Oh God. Yeah, these cocksuckers, Bill. They don't want the truth out there, and they're starting that bullshit at the grocery stores tomorrow, where only 5 people can be within 1,000 square feet.
Exactly.
Inside these grocery stores.
Let's start. I don't know how many stores they're doing it to in my town. I know that my roommate went up to the store closest to me, Osco Jules, and they're not stopping that, but they got mats with 2 little feet on them in red color for the cry saying, "Remember to stay 6 feet," and they got them spaced. They got them spaced apart, and people supposed to be standing on the mats and waiting to get in line. and everybody's just walking over the mats and getting right in line like always.
God, Bill, I feel like I'm in fucking elementary school all over again. Everybody's got to be in a fucking line and all this bullshit that they got going on with this.
I like Hayden. I like what Nick told me earlier. He says, look at it this way. It's a positive for you, Bill. And I says, what? He says, when they took your video down today, he says they wasted no time. They took that sucker down quick. And I says, yeah, I know. He says it means you hit him in a sore spot, so that's a plus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's a possibility that they're going to implement what they're implementing right now in the South, up here in the States, where 3 days a week women shop, 3 days a week men shop, and 1 day a week nobody shops.
Oh yeah, but we talked about this already. This is going to lead to lots of females being at home and not able to get out. And the first people are going to do what they're doing now. They're ignoring. But they
Yeah.
won't. But they're going to use that to their advantage against the people, and blame the people for the numbers still going up, and get stricter and stricter on you. You watch. This is a
Mhm.
long way from over, man. We're probably just coming into the second stage of however many stages they're doing here. Okay, we're
Yeah.
nowhere near the end yet. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, they did push the deadline on social distancing from April 30th to May 20th, so they're just pushing it back, pushing it back.
That's right. And when you get towards that, they'll push it again because the cases are, and then they'll push it again, and then they're going to declare a state of emergency as martial law because people ain't listening, and they're going to cops and it's going to start enforcing it. Military is going to wind up because they've already activated the National Guard. They're already
Mhm.
recalled 1 million vets, okay, back to the military, and they're deploying to the Caribbeans claiming it's for the war on drugs, and I'll guarantee you it's not.
That whole war on drugs bullshit. It's a sick situation. Hey,
It's a scary one too because we don't know for sure what the outcome, how far they're going to go with it. Are they going to stretch this thing to 2030, or are they just going for the gusto right now?
I feel like they're going for the gusto right now because they're ramping it up quick. I mean, they're ramping up their agenda very fast, and it seems like they would. I mean, if they continue on pace with what they're doing right now, they're going to get there a hell of a lot quicker than 2030. I mean, they could have this shit shut down by the end of the year if they really wanted to, Bill.
$51 billion is the annual cost of what the states spends on the war on drugs. So that right there could probably build enough affordable housing for the homeless.
Oh yeah,
Homeless,
easily.
but homeless men, they don't count as, they're not part of society.
No.
They're
Yeah.
dangerous. Right?
They're dangerous. That's right. Homeless men are dangerous to society, especially to females, right? But I don't know how far this is going to go. I only know that we got a ways to go, and I think it's going to get very ugly before said and done.
Yep. It's gonna get nasty. I called my parents today, Bill. I chatted with them for a little while, and they said, "Oh, are you being safe during this whole Corona pandemic?" And I came back and said to my mother, "You mean this Corona plandemic?"
Yeah.
And I tried to sit there and explain to my parents. I told them, "Look, if they come out with a shot or a vaccine, don't, for the life of me, don't go get it. Don't be stupid. This is all a hoax." I literally told my parents, "This is a hoax. The government has planned this out. They're trying to reset the economy, and they just won't listen to me, Bill."
Well,
They
what
just,
you should do. What you should do is show them that video with our the guy standing next to Trump in so many of the Corona press hearings, and
Mm,
you should show them that video of what he said before Trump was in office, and tell him argue with that.
yeah.
Because
And there was
you can't get around that. That's so factual. It's so in your face.
I just read a news report on the front page of the computer 30 minutes ago that said U.S. health officials in 2019 said pandemic kept them up at night. And it's like, why would that keep you up at night unless you knew it was going to happen?
Yeah. Pandemic kept him up at night. Yep. Sure.
Fucking
Okay.
plandemic.
That's right. Thinking about the
Yeah.
plan is what kept them up because they were excited.
Yeah.
They were
They
excited. I mean,
they
literally
s-
excited and ecstatic about it, loving it.
yep, they stayed up at night intently planning the agenda. Yep,
You
that's
know.
where we're headed.
Well, you got the separation of the genders, which has already been in everybody's face for a long time, and I can
Right.
understand how men feel, but at the same time, I've always told people this was not no accident. This was deliberate. This is all NWO related. And it's funny. I think one of the funniest things is you got so many of your leaders and presidents that's told you about NWO right in your face on national TV, but yet
Mm-hmm.
you caught a conspiracy theory for rattling off what they told you, okay? So by default, wouldn't that make them conspiracy theorists nut jobs too, huh? Well, your nut job is in your face right now. The stuff that's
Right.
happening to you is all part of this. The division of the genders is all part of this.
Yep,
This is what
it
happens
is.
when people don't listen.
I don't know. I think, Bill, there's people are not going to stand up. They're not going to retaliate, protest what's going on because most of them are under the same mindset that my parents are under. It's just,
Yeah, well,
oh, the government would never lie to us. Oh,
oh, I
it's
know.
America, land of the free, home of the brave.
Well, hey, this is how it goes. Your
Yeah.
government would never lie to you, and you know that nobody would ever do wrong onto somebody else, right? Nobody would ever treat nobody else inappropriately, right?
hmm Yeah.
And all you got to do is come to the manosphere to find out how full of shit that statement is. Because in the
Yeah.
manosphere, what do we like to do? We like to throw each other underneath the bus for your own popularity.
Yeah. It happens a lot. The only thing we can really do is watch the decline or enjoy the decline. I mean, we're not going to enjoy it, but we're sure as hell definitely gonna watch it unfold right before our very
Oh
eyes.
yeah, I mean this
Yeah,
is one of the best
this is
shows we've
it.
ever seen, right? But I was thinking about it. Every dang 4 years comes up to election time. There's been fear porn pushed for the last 13 years, and now
Yeah,
we have the ultimate fear porn. Okay, it'll scare you so bad that you willingly give up all of your rights, right?
yeah, all over something that doesn't even exist.
That's powerful. I mean, when Casper's around, look out.
It's
Hey,
just
hello, Dave. Now we have Dave in the house now. See, we don't have him in the chat yet, but he's always welcome to come in the chat. Let's finish this conversation we were having earlier, but do it live. We got Hayden back
yeah.
in, but this time we got Drunk Coke with us too. And I like Drunk Coke. He's a good man.
I just actually texted someone I know, and I told her nowadays people are too competitive and we're too focused on appearance. She was complaining about some of these people she sees on her Instagram and whatnot. So it kind of ties in
hmm
with what we were talking about. And Bill, you'd been preaching this for years.
It is.
People need to stop
Man,
judging by looks.
no. Yeah, well,
Like
that's what Instagram is all about. Looks, that's what I came to find too, Drunk Coke, because I had to get up off of Instagram because Instagram made me suicidal. Not even gonna lie about that. I got suicidal and depressed with an Instagram account. As soon as I deleted it, well, felt like a brand new human being.
Well, yeah. Sometimes you need to turn your head and walk away from the dating scene because it's only going to
Yeah,
depress you. It's only going to, drive you right through the roof. And then of course to understand why the problem, why we're acting this way, why people do what they're doing, is so deep, most people don't want to take the time to really put the dots together and do some critical thinking to understand it. Most people just go right along, And,
Yep.
and I'm hated by a lot of people because I don't go along with social engineering. Okay. And I can go so deep into it that, people just, what can I say? I can't change what they've done to us, but I can sure point it out to you.
Right.
I just wish more people would have taken it seriously because we're in where we're at right now because of nobody, well, caring about anybody else and just going along with everything. And that's the way it is nowadays. So that's the way we got to act,
Right. Yeah, I don't know really. I don't think there's anything we can really do. I mean, there's simply not enough people that have the courage to spread awareness and truth like you do, Bill. Like Drunk Hulk does, like Steve Hoka does. Like the few people in the manosphere that are actually willing to speak out against the bullshit. I mean, we're the overwhelming minority.
Well, we all have some difference of opinion, like even with Steve and Bill. I
Well,
was
but
saying,
the thing is this.
the thing is, we all agree that TFL is the white elephant in the room. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's normal to have a difference of opinion.
for sure.
Opinions are like people's asses. Everybody has
Well,
one.
it's interesting thing, but our opinions the opinions are like sort of our ideas of how is society gonna overcome TFL. And me personally, I differ from a lot of other people because I think too much of a focus on nationalism is actually counterproductive to us finding women in our lives. And it can actually drive the divide deeper between everybody. And when you create division, like I think a lot of these hyper right wing nationalist channels just create division, and it's just going to make TFL worse for most of us.
Yeah.
I'm not saying embrace this globalist elite agenda, but I'm saying we've got to kind of all recognize, or we've got to kind of, I don't know, unionize is the word, but kind of come together and embrace the fact that we're all victims. And I think men turn to nationalism because it makes them feel powerful, and they're afraid of admitting they're victims. That's why TFL is not popular, and why MGTOW is calling TFL a bunch of losers.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about MGTOW calling TFL losers? The majority of them are TFLers.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to have some of these big time Thai subscriber MGTOW content producers on this channel. I wouldn't be afraid to back. I wouldn't back down to them about this.
Oh, I would love
because you know what,
talk
it's healthier
to
for
some of
them to realize the truth. Realize and we're not gonna ostracize them if they admit their TFL. We're
No.
gonna ostracize them if they just push the bullshit strongman narrative, though.
Yeah, I mean, to push the bullshit narrative that's going around because they're so afraid of being honest with themselves. They're not doing themselves any justice and they're not helping anybody else. I mean, we're staying divided just like the elite want us, okay?
Right.
We're all fighting amongst each other just like they want us to. We're all using the very wording that helps to keep us divided and destroyed,
Right.
okay? And we can't change this unless other people are willing to change it. So,
Well, that's the problem, Bill. Other people are not willing to change it. There's not enough people.
Okay, my buddy over here that's in the army said he was getting, the last time he's typed to me, said he was deployed to the Caribbeans. I don't know what's happened to him, but it appears he says my duty station will be Texas.
Oh, shit.
So I guess, that's the armchair guy.
Armchair Revolutionary.
Yes, he just
Okay.
typed at me. Okay.
Man. Uh-oh. Armchair's coming to Dallas. It's coming to a neighborhood near you. Oh, fuck.
Oh yes, there
Oh,
we
shit.
go. But you know, it's just all messed up because the division of the genders is going to get worse with this. But you know, sometimes I actually don't feel sorry because I figure the way we're treating each other, maybe you should be locked up for a little while to get your head out of you know what.
Right.
Seems that way.
Yep.
I mean, you know, it's astounding now. You know, Steve come up and he had all these problems for a while with trolls and hacking into hacking in through his computer and stuff. But recently he's been pretty smart and he's been a little bit better, which is good. I just can't sit up all night like him because of my medicine schedule. So, but I think this is going to get worse. I could see women being at home, wishing they could get out to go chase the guy or whatever, you know, that they're after, and they're not going to be able to. These guys ain't going to be out there hitting on them, and I could see them going that far. I mean, we're getting ridiculous as it is. Okay. Make sure to wash your hands 20,000 times a day, guys. Okay. And make sure to stay 6 foot apart. If you'd like to stay 12 foot apart, that'd even be better.
Fucking Christ.
Okay. And change your clothes daily and get a shower and blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Yeah.
And be good or
Remember,
we're going to ground you. I mean, you know, I hate to do it, but I will ground you to your bedroom.
it's got to be a 12-minute shower, not a 10.5-minute shower,
I
folks.
can't promise I can abide by the 12-foot staying apart, 12 feet apart from everybody. But how about this? We'll settle on 11 feet.
Okay, okay, we'll settle on 11,
That's
okay?
what my thing.
And no bringing no loudspeakers or amplified mics or bullhorns with you to talk to the guy out in front or the girl out in front. Okay, no talking and lying, guys, because you'll be opening your mouth and breath will be coming out and you might be spreading an airborne bacteria. Okay? And well, you know that we have to be allergic to each other, guys.
Oh, God.
Especially you guys that are trying to get around girls. No, that's a big no. Don't you approach no female on this. No. I mean, you give her corona. Oh my God, you know what the crime that would be? If you
Oh,
breathed
my
on her,
Lord.
it's a her. You better not breathe on her.
This is the COVID. This is the era of COVID-19 pandemic. This is the era of TFQ for females. It's a true forced quarantine. They're getting to experience a little bit of true force something at least.
Well, they are, you know. We got Mick Toller in here, okay, who's wanting to know who's going to be paying the taxes. The elite don't care about the taxes. They own the money system. They don't care
They
about
don't.
taxes.
And to answer your question, it's going to be the working poor and middle class will be picking up the income tax bill, especially if you look at the tax code, it disproportionately hurts bachelor men.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
Right. It first gave an excellent explanation of this in the last stream with Steve. So you can refer to Steve's last live stream for first goes into great detail about it.
When Steve, if Steve puts that back up, I mean, he does them in the middle of the night when I can't be up, so I miss them. So, you know, and then if he don't leave it go up, then I don't see it anyhow. So that's just sort of the way that goes.
He does them in the morning, almost the morning.
Oh, I know. He's doing it so late that it would be impossible. I mean, I can't sit up all night. I mean, unfortunately, I got 2 rounds of medicine twice a day, and I try to keep them 12 hours apart. And when I do this, it throws my sleep schedule off, which I already have trouble sleeping as it is. So that throws that off. My medications get thrown off. It just messes me all up. So I was okay. I wished he'd do them a little younger in the evening, you know. I figured tonight I'll sit up a little extra just because I got tomorrow's show tomorrow night. So I'll sit up a little extra night tonight and sleep a little in the morning. I mean, my son wanted to go to Walmart first thing in the morning, but when he realizes he may have to stand outside in line for a while, he may not like that idea.
Such bullshit. You know, I told my parents about that story, the whole Walmart thing that they're doing starting tomorrow, and they laughed at it. Or at least my mom laughed, and I was like, that's nothing to laugh about. They're literally treating us like cattle.
Well, they are. You know, the first time I noticed this is I did maintenance in a slaughterhouse once, no lie,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And where
Yeah,
they slaughtered pigs, okay?
right,
And the first time I ever noticed this with Walmart was up in Buffalo, Minnesota on a Black Friday. Okay, the first time they done the Black Friday on a Thursday, starting Thursday night.
right,
They had went through the store and roped everything off, and people couldn't go into this section or that section, and everybody had to go in a line and follow it through the maze and go right with the flow, through what they were buying, and then out to the checkup line and out. Okay, and it reminded me of a slaughterhouse, how you keep everybody in one line going beep 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 beep. And I thought, oh my God, they set this like a slaughterhouse, and here all these people are acting just like the pigs and the cattle. You're just all following it along, man. Don't even realize you're in a slaughterhouse, do you? I mean, it's just insanity. When I saw that, I thought, oh my God. And then here we are with Walmart, and I guess next week they're going to be putting arrows in the store on the floors and arrows down the lanes, down the aisles, and
right,
it's going to be like a one-way street. You're going to go one way, and they're going to
right.
have employees standing there directing you, and that everybody has to keep their distance. Oh my
Such
God,
bullshit.
it is. And they're going to be taking everybody's temperatures. They come through the door. You know, I'm like, okay, really? They're already taking my brother's temperature every time he goes to work.
Right.
Okay, you know, and I'm like, really? You know, I would love to see everybody in the United States say F this shit and just open their restaurants and their bars and shit back up and go on with business like normal.
That's
If
what I wish
everybody
would
done that
happen.
one time in the United States, I guarantee you they couldn't stop it, and nobody would be getting this invisible thing because this is flu season, okay? And like they like to rename these things, and they gave it a nice
Right.
name, and they like to take something that's not that dangerous and flip it up and make it sound like, oh no, it's gonna kill the whole world.
Uh-huh. It's good entertainment though. I mean,
Well, you got to realize that freaking, I don't care if you're watching Fox, I don't care if you're watching CNN or ABC, CBS, or MSNN. I don't care
yeah,
what you're watching. Just
yeah.
remember they're all actors
It's all
and they're
bullshit.
lying to you. And they get up there and say, we got to stop them fake truthers about Corona that are out there talking about Corona and spreading fake news. Okay? And I'm like, fake news? No, the fake news is coming out your mouth. You're
Yep.
up here reporting fake news while you're the one creating the fake news? Unbelievable. But that's what's going on. Let me find him here. Okay, Dave just tried to get in here, and I'll let him in as soon as I find him. How's that?
Yeah.
There he
I
is.
want to say when I tuned into that coronavirus coverage bullshit that they've got going on, the top headline that they were reporting was 6.6 million people filed for unemployment. Now, I don't know if that was just today only or if that's been in the past week or month, but I don't think we've ever seen that many people file for unemployment in such a
It's gonna
short
be a
period
lot
of
more.
time.
It's gonna be a lot more soon.
Oh,
It
yeah.
I mean,
is.
this is just the beginning.
Well, hello, Dave.
Hey, Bill. What's going
Hey,
on, guys? How you doing?
hey, Dave.
Hey, pretty good, Dave.
Yeah, we ain't doing too bad here. You know, I'm not too badly disappointed about having the removal of my video. I figured at least I hit them where it hurts because they wasted no time taking it down.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me.
Well, we're not supposed to know about that right now because they're not quite to that stage over here yet.
Mm. Well, they're
No,
getting there slowly but surely.
yes, they are.
Yeah.
They got to keep us divided, okay? So just make sure that you keep your distance there, Dave. Okay.
Yeah.
Wash your hand at least 20,000 times a day and keep that distance.
Yeah, they told you to sing happy birthday while you wash your hands too, to make sure you wash it thoroughly. Did you hear that one?
Oh,
Did
there
they
you go.
really?
Yep.
Oh my god, dude, they're fucking trolling the shit out of everybody. Oh my gosh. They are literally making a mockery out of the American people. This is so sick.
You might wanna tell everybody they just go to the local parts store, buy that little container called
Oh
Goop.
my
You know,
gosh.
Goop, that's some great stuff. It'll clean that virus right off your skin. Okay.
Yeah.
We use it to get grease off our hands when we're working on motors, and it works wonderful. So it should remove corona pretty easily.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I don't know why everybody's rushing to get hand sanitizer. The best thing you can actually just use is just basic soap and water.
Exactly, exactly. I totally agree. But
Mhm.
they might want to use something stronger than that, Dave. So how about we just get everybody a half a gallon of paint thinner?
Yeah.
That'll clean your hands really good.
Yeah, let's pour some acetone on your hands.
There you go, by golly. We can do some acetone, and if don't worry, it evaporates off, but it'll really wash that stuff right off your hands. Might dry out your skin, but I don't think Corona likes dry
Oh,
surfaces. It needs moist.
yeah, yeah. I think I want to say, Bill, one of my new theories for why they've geoengineered the weather to be so cold down, especially, I mean, down here in Texas, is that they say these viruses supposedly thrive in cold weather and die off in hot weather.
Okay, well, there's a
So
problem. They carry
they'll
this
create
through
the
the
cold
summer.
weather, and then they'll blow up the numbers for the people that are getting infected and killed, and then they'll turn around and blame it on the cold weather because the cold weather is spreading the virus.
And what are we going to do when summer hits and it's still spreading, okay? Because we're coming into it
Right.
rapidly, right? What are we
Yep.
going to do then? Say, oh shit, because you people wouldn't listen, it morphed. I'll bet you didn't know airborne viruses could morph too. At that point, we'll probably have to have you at least stand that 11 foot, okay, Hulk? Okay, I mean at least 11 foot because I wouldn't want anybody to get unhealthy from. Go ahead and buy plenty
What
of
is it? Is it spread
GMOs.
by hand? Is it
Yep.
spread by hand contact or is it spread by airborne?
They claim it's airborne.
Yeah, that's what I thought originally. Yet people are obsessing over, people are talking about, oh, it can spread on any surface.
Well, that's because they're telling people when you cough or sneeze, okay, if you got the virus or the bug, it'll land on hard surface, which could be anything, including your money, and then it'll stay like alive for 17 days afterwards. And if somebody touches it and then rubs their eye or anything, or handles food after they've touched their money or their anything that they got, I mean, Costco's really went nuts. Costco's took a semi-load of pallets, and just like going to an amusement park. You walk up and down through the rails, back and forth to get the line. Well, they done this with these pallets at a Costco. And so everybody's like an amusement park going in and out of these pallets, boom, 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 to get to the front, to get their temperature. They're waiting there fucking for other people to shop to go in. Then when they're going through the checkout line, they're not allowed to put their stuff on the conveyor belt because that means they'd be handling it and there might be corona on it, right? And the cashier is scanning your card from a distance with the scanner thing she's got to
Are they
pay
behind
for it.
plexiglass?
Yeah, and then they walk around behind the plexiglass. Okay, they walk around because you can't put your stuff on the conveyor belt. Okay, So they walk around and they got their little scanner thing in their hand and they're shifting through your cart scan stuff, which means they're now touching it. Okay, it's complete insanity.
It sounds exactly like I had to go to Home Depot yesterday to get furnace filter replacements, and it was exactly like they put the entrance was at the back of the parking lot, and it was no one could clearly see where the entrance was. Every there were all these pylons everywhere. It was uh, really really something.
Yeah, they're just making it harder and harder to go out and do shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the other day I went to the supermarket, and you know how you have those recyclable or the reusable bags that they give you, those plastic bags. And I had a few of those with me, and they told me I couldn't use them for whatever. That, I guess that's another new rule that they just came up with. So
Right.
yeah, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Nope, you can't use them, Dave, because it might have Corona on it,
Well, they let me bring in my I've kind of got this little buggy thing that I pull when I go to because the grocery store is so close to me that it's within walking distance. So I take this little pull buggy thing so that my arms don't hurt when I'm carrying. Because I'll get a lot of groceries in one go usually, and they haven't made issue of that yet. I hope not, because I dropped $40 for the pull cart.
Well, I can imagine me taking my scooter and going down there. I've got a scooter, and I
And
can imagine
they can't
I
say
would
no to
put,
that.
I'd put the thing together and jump on that sucker and ride that up there, and them suckers would probably, oh no, you can't bring that in here, sir. It might have Corona on it.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty soon we're all going to be allergic to each other anyhow, right? I could see people
So they
playing.
say.
I could see the new style playing board games or card games at a table. You're going to have this extra large, I mean, big in size card table with little pushers to push the card across the table. Because, my guys, you wouldn't want to get too close to each other.
Well, it's a shit show.
What do you think much of this is going to do to all these people, anyhow? Especially when they start cracking down and make you stay in your house.
Oh, paranoia, fear, give in to the authority.
Yeah, that's what I see happening. Once they start cracking down on you, people are getting locked up and getting fines. Okay, our military standing on your streets and they're forcing you in your house, and people are forced to stay there. I think things are going to get really bad because people are going to start losing it. They're going to just start losing it.
Yep. And that's what hits me the most is that the people that you try to reach out to and share awareness to this problem with are only going to finally see the truth whenever it hits them in the face that they're not allowed to leave their house and we're shut down on a martial law lockdown.
There
Right,
we are.
especially when everybody's extracurricular activities. Like, I don't see sports coming back anytime soon either. I mean, people are really gonna be in a tizzy when, when I mean, God knows how long this is gonna last, and people aren't gonna have their baseball or their football. I mean, if football season's canceled, oh my goodness, where do we see the reaction there?
Oh no, no football. Oh no, I'm gonna have a stroke.
Yeah, hockey, baseball, about everything. Yeah.
Man, they just wouldn't be able to handle it without their TV set, would they?
No.
No more football games on Sunday afternoon and all the beer.
Well, maybe they could get themselves a video game and play football that way.
Yeah.
No more going to the stadium and paying $15 for a beer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
$1,000 for a ticket. That's what you got to get these idiots going to the New England Patriots, shelling
oh
out
God,
shelling out $1,000 to go over there.
Jesus Christ.
So that's how bad people have lost their minds. I think maybe this will be kind of a wake up call for these people.
I hope so, Dave. I
Get
hope
their
you're
heads
right.
out of their asses.
Well, I would hope that you'd be right, Dave, because
Hope
for
you're
a
right.
long time now we've needed people to reach around the backside and pull their head back out of there. So maybe it'll be a good thing in the end because people are going to get to find out what it's like to not be able to associate and and they ain't going to be able to run their clique no more, especially if it's over 10. Okay. And if you don't live together, well, at like curfew time, because see, I was telling you, man, when they started shutting Walmarts and all your stores down at a certain time of evening, that's because they're conditioning you for a curfew. Can't people
Right.
understand that's what's going on? They're conditioning you for a curfew, and they're going to slowly bring it in through the course of this. And you may just have that curfew at the end of all of this permanently.
Yeah, this is definitely a control agenda. They're basically conditioning us to tell us where we can go and when we can do it.
Yep, you'll see it. When they finally get through and there's no more corona, the curfew won't be lifted. And if there's military on your streets, suddenly they'll be there forever.
Yep. Probably foreign military too. We'll see.
Yeah.
People don't want to.
And I do see yeah.
It's not good. I mean, but Hayden got a little bit of good news today. He gets to get out for at least every other week.
Yeah, thank God. Yep.
What's that for, Hayden?
I will be I guess our business is going to start shipping medical supplies for this pandemic, so I'll get to go back to work on the 13th.
Just think you're going to be emergency worker, Hayden. You're going to get to send these medical supplies to some warehouse somewhere. Well, they'll store them because they don't really need them.
Oh well, Bill, this will definitely break my TFL too, because you know what the meme's going around is, oh, these women they're all looking for the emergency workers right now. Oh man, they're all digging the essential employees. That's the new meme is all these girls. Oh man, they're digging these essential employees, Bill. Just got an essential employee max.
Oh yes, I mean you got that. You got to max that. PUA it all the way, and make sure while you're at it, if you're an emergency worker, you could be an emergency PUA artist. Okay.
Jesus.
You can learn how to
Yeah.
pick them up, see them, meet them, talk to them. But don't worry about that. You got to both go home at night. A curfew's here. Sorry, date's over. And just
Yeah.
wait if they make it 3 days a week, only women go out, and 3 days a week, only men go out. I want to see how that's going to work out for you, man. That'll work out really great.
Yeah, the new thing in PUA is going to be spiritual telekinesis. Learn how to seduce a woman from afar. All right,
There you
everybody's
go.
all social distance. You got to stay 6 feet apart. But here's the deal, guys. I can teach you how to use spiritual telekinesis and telepathy to seduce women from afar. Spiritual maxing.
Oh,
We got
there
this,
you
guys.
go.
There
Just
you
think.
go.
And you
Just like
just think, and you could get lucky from
Oh,
afar.
gosh. From afar.
It'll be the best time you ever had from afar.
How's that for a long distance relationship?
So Bill, what country was that in where they said women got to go out these 3 days and then men go out the other 3 days? What was that, like in Puerto Rico somewhere?
Yeah, it was Panama.
Panama, okay. Yeah, I can see that making its way up here. Something like it anyway, some version of it.
Yeah, somebody else knows it too. It's Peru and Panama. Where's the Caribbean's at anyhow? I ain't got the map in my head.
Caribbean would be
Caribbean,
northeast of Panama.
Central America.
Or northeast of Mexico, really, right? It's interesting how Panama. This news article was about Panama having the divide of the genders when Panama is sort of this symbol of global free trade and commerce, and everyone's supposed to be more interconnected, and globalism and trickle down economics is going to help empower working men everywhere. Everyone's going to be connected, and now the genders are divided in Panama.
Well, there you go. That'll work out just great. They'll all be more closer together, more connected than ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bill, to answer your question, the Caribbean, that's down by Puerto Rico.
Okay. Well, what do you think our troops are doing being deployed in that area? I know it's not for the war on drugs. I mean, maybe it is
Don't
the
know.
war on drugs, right? Because after all, they can get out 3 days a week, to go to the store and go home.
I guess I'm skeptical about that, because if deploying our troops to the Caribbean was all for the war on drugs, then why haven't they already been deployed to the Caribbean long ago in the past? Because the war on drugs has supposedly been going on for a long time now.
Yes.
Why didn't they deploy them back then?
Well, because it's hard to beat this war, because they keep accidentally bringing them into the drugs in. And then after the government and the CIA accidentally brings the drugs in, then they realize these guys have got drugs on our streets. And they forgot that they put them there, on their little power trip. So we better get the military out to guard the next shipment coming through. We wouldn't want anybody we wouldn't want some pirates to rob them of the drugs before we get them on the streets, right? I mean, I'm telling you, that was complete nonsense when Trump said that. That was like, oh my God. You're so lying right now. What's your real reason for being out there in the Caribbeans?
Bill, we got to get you in one of those White House press conference rooms asking Trump some questions. Oh my God, could you imagine?
Oh, they'll have me all locked up before long, won't they? And I'll have to tell them, take this one down now. Come on.
I want to get Steve Hoker in there to ask Nancy Pelosi some questions.
There you go.
That would be great. Holy shit.
I could question Tony Fascio, whatever you call him. I'd like to talk to him about his speech in 2017, and Hoker could be questioning Nancy Pelosi, and we could stream it.
Man, I would pay premium price to hear that. Jeez.
I don't know why I don't know why I have this sinking feeling they won't let me question him. I mean, they wouldn't let me turn him in. I mean, I deliberately did that. I already knew what was going to happen, but I wanted them to prove that was going to happen, and they did too.
Yeah.
I didn't have to tell them, oh, come on, you can't freaking go. You ain't going to actually investigate it, are you? Wow, I'm going to give you an award. Now I didn't have to worry about that. They didn't get the award.
Yeah.
No, they're not going to investigate their superiors, Bill.
Oh no, we can't investigate our superiors, man. They're gods. I'm some little serf over here, man. I'm a great little order follower.
That's the mentality.
Guys, between Dave and Drunk Hulk and Hayden, we got to be careful not to be spreading fake news now.
I mean, we're not sponsored by the top multinational corporations, so what incentive do we have to tell the truth?
Shit. So you mean we have to be sponsored?
It's like that movie Idiocracy, brought to you by Carl's Jr. You ever see that?
Man, I'm telling you, it's awful. We're gonna have to be sponsored.
Yeah, good one. That sums it up.
Okay, well, I don't know then, man. Maybe you think Kellogg's will sponsor us?
Be sponsored by General Mills.
There we go.
Yeah.
They could just sponsor us, to tell the truth. Because we don't want to be
Oh,
spreading any kind of fake news, so we'll help them out, okay?
oh, of course.
No more fake news, guys. Understand Corona's not real. I mean, real. Make
Yeah,
sure
get
you
out.
keep plenty of distance, butts rubbing. I mean, like 11 feet apart or something, you know.
Well, we'll know you've stopped spreading fake news, Bill, when you finally got a partnership with Monsanto.
Oh yes, that's a good one. I like that. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I know people are dying. They're dying laughing at not being able to find anybody that's dying. I'm sorry, couldn't help myself because I seen the comment. Somebody wrote, "Well, people are dying." Oh, please show me one.
Dying from what?
I'm probably dying from laughter.
Why not show one person that they know though? Because I don't know whether or not this is
Well, you know, if you could
to what
just,
extent
if
this
you
is.
could show me one person and not a crisis actor, okay? When you start showing me a crisis actor, is well, you know where you can shove that, okay?
I
Why
was
don't you
just
take us down to New York with all them cooler semi rigs sitting there that are the makeshift corpse that are putting all the bodies in? And why don't we open each door, huh? What do you want? You bet you find empty trucks.
Well, Bill, I was just talking to a friend of mine, a guy I used to work with, and you know, he was coming down with a like a head cold, you know, just your common cold symptoms, sore throat, runny nose, and he had to get himself checked out, and of course they diagnosed him with the corona. And now, I mean, now just because you got a sore throat, it's like they're just automatically labeling you with corona now. You know, that's all he has. He just has a cold.
Oh,
He's like,
that's exactly it. You know, we either have a shield for the system in here trying to make a mockery out of us with the lie, or we have somebody that's just out of sleep and believes all their TV set tells them, okay? Because I'm sorry, the numbers are growing, and as the numbers grow, the hospitals are staying empty and the clinics are staying pretty much not busy at all. And we're letting go of healthcare workers. No, we're not bringing them on board. We're letting them go.
Yeah, that's fishy.
I've seen reports from all over the world, and lots of people in other countries have walked through their hospitals. And one hospital this lady went through was a big hospital. There's supposed to be 30 or 40 cases of corona in there. She went in there, found hardly anybody in there. Lobbies were empty, waiting rooms were empty. She got up going by respiratory therapy, and the department was shut down. Oh, but this attacks your lungs. That's why we shut the department down while we got patients in here.
they're calling it a war zone, Bill.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's a war zone. You go outside and ain't nothing going on.
It's a ghost town.
Exactly. It's a ghost town. Oh, but no, it must be still happening because they told me so.
Yeah, I think they've got a vaccine in the works right now, Bill. That's when the real trouble's going to start. Once people start taking those shots, it's going to be game over.
Well, you got Belinda and Bill Gates, the doctors, Bill Gates from Microsoft.
Yeah.
That Bill Gates from Microsoft. Well, he's your doctor. He's helping to create that vaccination for you.
Yes.
I'm
He
sure
was
it'll
the
be loaded
one.
with some nano chips for you too, won't it?
He's the one who said in that live conference one time that the one thing that people need to do to convince parents to get their children vaccinated is fear. And everybody completely misinterpreted that, but he put it right in everybody's face.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, how can you explain that, S. Bill? because I'd like to see you back up what you just said. That's all I got to say to Espio is please bring the proof of what you're saying to the table. I don't want to hear the words falling out your mouth. I want the proof. I don't think that's asking too much, okay? I mean, this guy just accidentally got up there before Trump come in office in 2017, right on video, and told you this was going to happen because it's real, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we won't investigate him to see how he found out how, right? Oh no, we'll allow him to stand next to Trump and pretend he's fighting it. What a joke. Even
Yeah.
with that kind of evidence right in your face, right in a person's face, they're still going to act like that. Oh no, it's going to still be real.
Well, to get to Espio's point, he mentioned that supposedly there's an increase in breathing and respiratory problems in a quite large percentage of the population. But what I would say is if you do a timeline correlation between now and when they started putting up all of these 5G towers, you will see that if you do deep research into 5G, one of the side effects and health problems that 5G causes in humans is precisely respiratory. That they're going to pass that on as corona when it's not.
Well, you have,
and they're putting these towers up all over the place. They hide them in plain sight. They put them on poles. They put them in trees. They put them all over the place where you would not expect them to be.
Yeah. Well, you got that, and Hayden, you're correct on that. And you have the other fact that, flu, okay, influenza, other sicknesses that come along. I've seen a case of flu turn into pneumonia.
Right.
And where does pneumonia? Oh, that's right, that's your lungs. Well, why would these people? They could have a common cold, and that affects the lungs.
Right.
I mean, thousands of people have been dying from this every year for the past up teen million years anyway, and nobody really bats an eye. And now all of a sudden, there's a big crisis.
Oh, I know. Ain't that awful, Dave? For all these years, these people been dying. People been dying from it every year. These type of things, and now we just noticed it. I don't know how that one got away from us, Dave. How did we not notice it in millions of years?
Right. I mean, just in this country alone, we have about 300 million people. So, I mean, obviously, you get thousands of people die every day. I mean, it's just such is life, and they're just making this. They're using this against us, and they're scaring us to death. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's just it, though. I think really what you're seeing here is, it's pretty well confirmed that they did this rehearsal last year. 2019, January, they were rehearsing a pandemic. That's right. Human Services, Homeland Security, FEMA, military. Okay. All of these entities were up here rehearsing a pandemic. Okay. For 8 months straight. And then they turn around and take it live. Okay. And because they passed laws allowing them to do these type of events as long as nobody really dies, they're allowed to lie to you and tell you people dies. They're allowed to bring in crisis actors to put on the show. They're allowed to use mock courtrooms in Hollywood and actors and sell it to the public as a real event. By law, they're legally allowed to do it because they passed it into law themselves. And that's what you're seeing going on right now. The only difference is they're going to use it to strip you of your rights and scare the living crap out of you.
Right. So all it is, Bill, it's just a blueprint of from the tyrants to take away all of our freedoms.
Exactly. That's exactly what it's about.
that's the way they've been doing. They've been doing it for so many years all over the world, and now they're kind of making their way over here, and everybody's just kind of going along with it.
Oh yeah, they're just, oh yeah, look at this man, he's cool, man. And it's just, oh. And other people are panicking, they're scared, they're having nervous breakdowns over it.
One of the things they're doing right now, since they don't have any pro sports going on, what they've got going on Snapchat is a bunch of these NFL players making these short clips on social media with the hashtag "Stay Home, Stay Strong." Coming on there, encouraging everybody to stay at home.
Well,
They're
you
so
know,
obey the
they're
orders.
so important,
it
Oh
is.
God, yeah. The way these, they got J.J. Watt, they got Tom Brady, and all these big name athletes. You got to listen to what they say.
You're dang right. Just
they
before
got to be right.
just
right?
before football season, probably a coach and a football player, oh, they got corona. Sorry guys, we got to cancel football season because they got corona.
It's kind of like what Steve was saying, how these major league stars would if they won a championship, they'd be skate out on the ice with their with their wife, or out bring their wife out on the field. Oh, I couldn't do it without her. It's so fake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they all come out there with their beautiful family, parade and grandstand in front of everybody.
Couldn't have done it
It's
without
so
her.
I'm not even going to look at what they have to say about this COVID thing.
There you go. I like that. Stay home, stay strong. Okay, that's right. I like that.
How about stay off social media?
There you go. Stay strong. There you go. That's some good words to use.
But they're not going to tell you to stay off social media because
Well, no, we don't want you staying off.
No.
We would like you to watch every single report, and then you could take a break now and again and skip one, okay? But keep your eyes on it. Don't let it go away because, this way you'll be fully coronatized.
Oh, grown men wearing the last name of another guy on their back and then beating up fans. Like what happened in Vancouver, because I think the Boston Bruins won, and then they beat up other.
You're fading out there. Your
mic is buffered, drunk.
Can't even hardly hear you now, drunk.
Yeah. Oh my God! Did I cut out?
There you are. Now you're
wear another grown man's name on your back. Worship them, and if you don't get your way, if your team loses, you riot and you bash in the windows of small businesses that haven't done anything to you.
Well, that's right.
Because will actually damage.
That you attack another person wearing a jersey of the team you hate that won. How dare you wear the jersey to the team I hate that won and beat my team? Now I'm gonna beat you. There you go.
Yeah, maybe this will kind of hit the reset button with these pro sports, and and do something about these outrageous salaries they make. That would be kind of a blessing if that happened.
Oh hell yeah! It gets kind of sick. You watch these ESPN and these Fox Sports commentaries of all of these sports analysts, arguing and debating. Oh, which one of these athletes should be making the 5-year, $125 million contract? And it's like, in reality, none of them fucking should be making that much money. Not even close.
And if you watch like Monday Night Football, instead of having like two analysts or commentators, now they have like 10 of them, all up there just, acting, talking a bunch of BS.
Well, that's what they're doing. They had an Iowa briefing with the press tonight. Okay, talking about, I didn't listen to it because, I get enough of it. The only thing I do once a day is I listen to the female governor of Iowa speak. As soon as she goes to taking questions, I turn it off. I listen to Trump speak, and as soon as he goes to taking questions, I'm gone. Okay? I don't need to hear anymore. I just want to hear the beginning to see if they make any announcements that's going to okay, what's going on. That's basically all I need to hear because I already know it's the script. I already know it's an act. Okay.
Mhm.
And so all I'm doing is just keeping up with the act, but I don't need to hear all the questions from all the sheet.
Somebody in the chat, Bill, if you don't mind me, says you made up your minds. It's all fake, so there's nothing to say anymore. But the burden of proof is not on us.
No, if you believe it,
The
then
burden
bring us
of
the proof.
the burden of proof is on the people promoting it, and that's the media. They
Yeah.
can't provide the proof to show us that this is a legit threat.
And what they will provide you is a bunch of actors,
Mhm.
crisis actors. They're famous for that. They're going to give out some tool money, okay, and you're going to read this script and act this out, and we're going to give you this really good paycheck, okay, and you're going to walk away, and that's it. The burden of truth is exactly that, on the media and on them to prove what they're saying is true.
Yeah.
It's not on us to believe everything a bunch of pack of liars say to you. They've been lying to us for hundreds of years. Okay? They socially engineered and created the big white elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about, TFL. Okay? And so no, people come in and say, well, you've already made up your mind, it's a lie, so there ain't nothing we can say to you because I know it's true and it's really happening. And I'm going to say, how do you know that? Well, because I know. Yeah, of course you know. Everybody knows the same thing because they were watching the same thing you was, TV.
People just have to do a little bit of medical research, but I guess a lot of people don't want to take the time to do that these days.
Well, Hayden, that would mean they would have to actually listen to something that they don't want to believe because I know my government wouldn't lie to me. They would never do this.
Oh, that shit that you told me when you said, when Dave said that they start promoting that people should sing happy birthday while they're washing their hands. I can't get that shit out of my mind.
Happy birthday to Corona.
They actually said that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's so that you're sure. That's so that you make sure that you wash your hands long enough. If you sing it, if you sing the whole thing, you washed your hands thoroughly.
Oh, okay. I suppose next we need to sing the Star Spangled Banner or national anthem, right? Okay, that's how you know when you've been in the shower long enough. You got to sing the national anthem.
Whoever came up with that suggestion to sing "Happy Birthday" was probably some one of these high roller type women making $600,000 a year in a corporate, as a corporate consultant.
There you go.
And they probably paid her a bonus. Probably paid her a $1.4 million bonus just for that.
Just some lackey, like you said, some lackey making $500,000, for doing nothing. Maybe it was Chelsea Clinton.
Yeah,
there you go.
It wouldn't surprise me.
That fucking mastermind, multi-level marketing right there, man. Holy shit.
Well, just think. I mean, I think Hayden come up with a great idea how the new dating scene is going to look. Okay, at afar.
Yeah. Dating from afar, Bill. It's
all these women in dating limbo Steve talks about, they won't have to be in dating limbo now. They can date from afar.
Exactly. They can date from afar. This is real long distance dating, Bill.
Yes, sirree. It sure is.
Yes.
And we can have our illusion, our mirage that we're actually with her,
Oh, yeah.
But that's all the further it can go. Don't try to really do it because then you'd be breaking the law.
You see, Bill, instead of these women having physical sugar daddies, it's going to be long distance sugar daddies now. All right. Long distance sugar daddies. There we go. Yep.
Oh, they'll get to be close. I mean, they'll get to look at each other on a cam.
Hey, FaceTime. They'll have FaceTime. What more could you want?
Right.
You thirsty man. What more could you want than FaceTime?
you're gonna get lots of FaceTime, man. She'll if you give her enough money, she'll get right on cam with you. You have plenty of FaceTime. Okay, just make sure to give her some money over on PayPal. You know, when she sees you come in, you know, you'll be
Yeah,
good.
25.
We have to narrow the pay gap a bit, right?
Just watch out for the scam artists on Facebook, Bill. You know, because people
Oh, you're right.
people got a lot of free time right now. I've gotten just in the last few days, I've had a few schemers try to contact me and, you know, try to direct me to some site, you know, to oh, here's some free money waiting for you, you know, like give up some personal information, you know, that sort of deal.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a fucking trap.
Yeah, somebody was got a hold of my aunt's profile on Facebook, and they tried to and they messaged me, and I knew it was just really out of character, just the way the
Right.
messages were coming in.
Yeah.
And I just said, well, listen, before I you know, if this is you, you know, I says, you know, I just need you to answer a couple of questions just to make sure. I says, what's my mother's maiden name, and what city did she move to right after she was adopted? And they just replied, "Are you kidding me?" And so I was like, right away, I was like, just block them, you know, and just, you know,
Cocksuckers, man.
that was the end of that.
Yeah, there
Frauds.
you go.
Total frauds.
I believe that, Dave. I mean, you're gonna get creeps crawling out of the woodwork trying to scam people and steal money from them. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I had another one today that clicked on the like button for like about 20 of my photos on my Facebook page. And it was, I looked at this profile of somebody I never heard of, and it was a profile of the picture was a really a young, beautiful woman. I was like, oh yeah, this is really really legit. So I just put a block on that one immediately, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how you handle the legit ones. You block them.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah, I got this 22-year-old woman that looks like that, you know, that's going to be all of a sudden clicking on all these, clicking on the like button to all my pictures. Okay.
Right.
That I've never even seen before.
Right. Yep.
So, yeah, the creeps are definitely coming out, you know.
If I was 21, though, I could imagine just my mindset would be so different. It would be like I would think I'd have struck the lottery if one of these fake women were, you know, even to add me on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's, you know, because me, I'm going to be 50 years old in 4 months, and I'm like, what would a young woman 30 years younger than me want with me? So I was like, that's just kind of like, you know, and it just, you know, as you go through life, you just figure out the frauds really quick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'll
You spot them
yeah,
pretty
you can,
quick. You really
yeah.
do. Oh, they don't like that though, because that's not doing them any justice, because you caught them before they could steal anything. How dare you do that, Dave?
Yeah. Oh, they probably wanted to direct me to that site. So, and then just ask, okay, what's your social security number? Okay. Oh, if you pay $1,000, we're going to give you $50,000. You know, it's one of those things.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, or like the whatever they call it, the magistrate of Nigeria kind of things. I'm the son of the magistrate of Nigeria, and we'd like to, you know, transfer. And we need to transfer all these funds to your account.
Yeah.
Yep, you have a
Bullshit.
long lost relative who died over there, and they left you an inheritance, okay? But you got to send us this much money to unlock your inheritance. Yep, it was a special stipulation on it. I needed 25,000 to unlock your inheritance of 0.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord.
They got them
Yeah.
coming and going. The scams are off the charts over there. I'm telling you.
Well,
Yeah,
they-
yeah, you got to be careful. There's a lot of parasites out there, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and even though kind of these scams may seem absurd to us, because we've got more perspective and experience. Like for some more impressionable and vulnerable person, they just need, for every million emails or whatever, they just need one person to one sucker to give into it. So
Sure.
it's ultimately a numbers game, just like PUA.
Yeah. They tend to target older people. They think like, especially senior citizens that, might have, that might be senile or might have dementia or whatever, Alzheimer's. That's what they're hoping for, to catch somebody like that and just get a ton of money out of them. Get there. Let's see if we can get their life savings. I mean, that's
it.
just terrible people out there.
Well, if we could get the life savings, that'd be awesome, right?
I suppose I could check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they think anyhow, is they're all here trying to screw other people over in the middle of something like this.
You got some senior citizen that worked their whole life,
All right.
to
Now, let's talk
to
about
build up $100,000, and these people
the
want to come along and
possibilities.
take that, and just take that right away from them just by
A lot of you know I was in
psychologically tricking them.
telecom, which is true. I was.
Yeah.
21 years.
And
Now,
it
have I
is
been out of it?
ultimately
Not really, because sometimes
they're
you
able
get
to
called for
profit from
jobs
it
here
from
and there
this
and wherever.
because they're sending millions of emails.
So
And
Yeah.
let
it's
me
a
give you a
numbers game, just like
possibility on
POA.
why
But here's the thing:
the
if you
masks
think about when Bill,
are being demanded
when you
all
and
of a
Dave were
sudden.
growing up, could you guys
Because
picture
this is about the big
people
5-7.
would
It sure is, and the
friends and
capabilities of.
colleagues
You
of yours
see,
would
shaving
react if they
down
saw
was
some
an exercise that was
man
conducted
walking
in
up to
7
strange women in the
states
streets
in the
of
southern tier of the
whatever
United
major city
States, where
you live near? Like, people would think they were nuts. It's it's a numbers game, bro. It's a numbers game. Like, you watch movies from the 80s and it just kind of naturally happens. Like what Steve talked about, women would just move into your zone. There's not like people would look at you like you were from a different planet.
Yeah.
Whereas now guys are like, oh well, he's doing what he can to get laid, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's doing everything he can do to get laid, man.
Don't cock block him, man. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
man.
shit show. And here's another thing: is what the PUA movement has ultimately done is it's just driven it's only tarnished the image of men as a whole, even more so.
Yeah, well, PUA is a lot like Pepe Pew, Pepe Pew, Skunk, the cartoon character. Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Oh, what do? We know that this Corona thing's they're gonna keep ramping it up pretty soon. The only good thing you might get out of it is some women's gonna get to find out what TFL is, except for them, they'll jump on their cam, and there'll be lots of thirsty guys that are in a hurry for a face date.
I think the latter is more likely than I don't think there's gonna be any repercussions for women from this sports. Right, think about your average human resources, all these government administrators. The nurses are still working. I'll give them credit there because they're doing real work. But teachers are getting. But in Canada, the teachers' unions are so powerful. They're getting full pay and time off. They make
Shit.
the teachers with seniority. They can be teaching something like psychology. Crappy public school education. They pull in 6 figures a year, when you account for their pensions are fixed to inflation, and they get full pay. They don't have to worry about money at all through this pandemic. So most of those
crazy,
teachers are
man.
women, right? Most of those teachers are women.
Yeah.
Administrators, you've got the human resources. I don't see major corporations, trimming the fat because for them, their publicity report and being an equal opportunity company is everything. So I think women are going to come out of this like nothing happened.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the overwhelming majority of teachers, yeah, definitely, it's such a female-dominated system.
Okay, guys, according to Espiel, we're all a bunch of lazy butts. You might want to read his comment there.
Oh, I didn't read what he said. He's at Walmart buying his tri-tip.
Well, he's fixating on the fact, I think, that you don't buy into COVID being the pandemic that it's made out to be. I'm not an epidemiologist. I have no real insight into it. But
well, he's saying, okay, I'm going to read his comment. He posted 2 comments, and I can easily reply to both of them.
But does he personally, SBO, do you personally know anyone who is suffering from?
He says, I have the CDC stats that show, though, there is an increase in flu and pneumoma-related deaths from 7.4 to 8.2% compared to previous years for the same. But my question and contest to SBO is that really from the flu, or is that from the flu shot? Because I guarantee you, if you do investigation behind those deaths and you were to run a medical autopsy report on those bodies, if that's really true, you're going to find that the vast majority of those cases took place after somebody was administered the flu shot. If it's flu symptoms, if it's flu-like symptoms, then it's the flu. It's not the coronavirus.
Okay, he knows somebody that has the symptoms, but the hospital refused to test them.
He's go get your 64-ounce big gulp. I need to get me one too, man. Shit. 64-ounce big gulp from Quick Trip.
You could get yourself a 64-ounce, a big old bottle of Corona beer. There you go.
I'm not trying to be a goofball. I'm being serious. If you're having flu-like symptoms, then that's what you have, and there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing wrong with having the flu. It's a seasonal occurrence for most people. It's a detoxification.
Yeah, well, maybe
you just have to let it pass.
Maybe you should look at the age of the people dying, because they're not reporting that. I mean, Espiel, what he's saying here, how can you even prove that's going on? And if you did prove it's going on, you'd probably prove it was elderly people or people that already had issues. That's all you'd probably prove.
It's just like you said, Bill. I mean, the flu shows respiratory symptoms as well. It's not limited
It
to.
sure does. That's been known for years. Flu can easily turn over to pneumonia.
Of course.
Yeah, right. That's usually how it's done. How it happens.
Yes, and so this is just it's just people don't use their head. Well, no, the respiratory thing. Oh, I'm sorry, but even the common flu or a cold affects the lungs. A cold can turn into the flu, that can turn into pneumonia. That's all stuff that's been known for decade after decade after decade.
I was listening to a gentleman that was doing a video presentation on YouTube talking about why he believes the COVID-19 is a hoax, just like we do, but he was also tying it in with the development and installation of 5G towers. And he was saying that if you do research on modern history, that every time the human population faced a pandemic, it was when shortly before the powers that be had implemented a new system of electromagnetic technology into society. And every time, supposedly his theory was that every time the human organism is exposed to new electromagnetic technology, it causes health problems and a decline in overnight decline in the health of the population. So that's another concern to consider when thinking about everything going on right now, because we have 5G being put in every school, being put in all over businesses, all over public streets, apartment complexes, neighborhoods, hidden in plain sight. So
Did you
this is
ever get
something
a
to consider.
chance? Did you ever get a chance, Hayden, to drive by a few schools?
I did not. I'll be honest with you, Bill. I just did not. I had the time to, but I just chose not to. It never passed through my mind to do so.
Yeah, I haven't done that because I hardly ever get out, but that's something if I remember to do it tomorrow, I'll probably do when I take my son out, just because I think it needs. I think it needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bill, there's somebody in the chat. They go by the name of Warburg. Do you know who they're?
Oh yeah, I know who Warburg is.
Yeah. Yeah, he says hi.
Okay, yep,
Yeah.
I didn't see that come up. I wasn't looking at the chat.
He's joined us for the stream tonight.
Well, that's cool. He's got himself a new name, so I know who Warburg is. Yes. I just look at it for what it really is. I mean, nobody can back this up, and your numbers keep going up every day, but nobody knows nobody.
Mm-hmm.
What we do know is they're now going to use crisis actors.
Yeah, Bill, you know what? The minute I see a witness, one of those reporters that, or an interview of a witness or whatever, or of involving the actor who played Elliot Rodger, at that point, I'll know whether this is a legitimate pandemic or not.
Oh yes, I know.
As soon as his face pops up.
But to Warburg, I wouldn't mind having you on, but you have to get Zoom. Zoom's free to get, but you have to download Zoom and send me a friend's request to my email. So if you get Zoom on your device, you can get it for your smartphone or your PC. Either one. Let me know you got it, and I'll hand you out my email address, and you can send a friend's request, and that's how you get on the show, okay? Well, if you got that, then I'll take this in for you, okay? Okay, there you go. You can use that email and send me a friend's request.
In some of his earlier videos, when he used to post TFL type content, Stardust would ask, his famous question was, how does one meet women organically? And now, with the pandemic, or you could call it a hoax, I'm not sure. There is no way of meeting women organically. It's virtually impossible now. The only way is virtual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately so.
Well, that's because we're connected more than ever, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We're in this. Oh, a lot of these companies, they'll have slogans like "We're in the," or no, it was Justin Trudeau who said, "We're in this together." And I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a pandemic, okay? Planned. That can be proven already 1,000,000 times over. Anybody that watches that video and then says, no, it wasn't planned, needs to go have their self checked out, because there's definitely something wrong with their ticker. Their ticker on their computer, thing upstairs that does your thinking for you.
Right.
All right, guys, that's hashtag we are alone together. Remember?
Oh
alone
yes, we
together.
are alone together.
Except
stay strong, stay home.
Yeah, we're alone together, except no, women still could care less about TFL men or men in general.
Yeah.
Like women are going to get all the attention on social media, just like they always have.
They sure will.
And some of that attention, it's not flattering to them.
Hey, what's up?
Hello there, Orberg.
How you doing today?
Not too bad. We just up here talking about life of a corona.
Yeah, well, I mean, who's to even know if this whole coronavirus even exists?
Hey, it don't exist pretty much. I mean, do you know anybody that has corona?
Personally, no. In fact, I mean, if it does exist, I just recently heard that over in Wuhan, China, that everything's somewhat back to normal. As far as the whole social distancing thing. So, I heard this was an epidemic that went on like 8, 9 months ago. So America should probably go talk to China to get it, underway much quicker. And, I don't think America is going to want, the country to basically have this whole social distancing thing go on for too long because it's just a big business, in my opinion. They're going to try to make money somehow, some way, and they're not going to make it by totally screwing everybody over.
Well, how about a reset? How about a grab for more power? How about, since China is the role model for what they want the whole world to be, of course they bring their economy up while they let every other economy crash.
Well,
China's been buying a whole bunch of land over here. They own a whole bunch of stuff over here already, and it is the new role. It is the role model for NWO.
geez. Yeah, it just scares me when, you got man who thinks he's God and, this kind of crap happens.
Well, unfortunately, that comes from people not paying attention to what's going on around them and believing in the lies, and then nobody standing up against people that are corrupt. When you have Tony Faso, the guy that stands next to Mr. Trump on TV when he's giving you his speech, this guy's up in video in 2017 before Trump was in office and actually said that there was going to be a surprise outbreak in Trump's term, and here it is. He openly told you about it 3 years before it happened. And
Wow.
you cannot get him investigated. I already proved that. I called the local cop shop. I called the sheriff's department. I was sent to the state, and the state sent me back to my local cop shop. Nobody wants to touch it.
Who's the guy that said about this outbreak 3 years ago? What was his name?
Tony Fashu. He's got the last name always throws me. Any of you guys know that last name in here?
Oh,
No.
Tony Faraz.
Illuminati?
Tony Faraz.
That sounds right. He's the guy that stands next to Trump most of the time with the glasses. And yet he's ahead of the infectious disease control. Okay. He's on their team. Well, there's an open video. I downloaded it. It's on YouTube. You can find it. Okay. I've got it saved, and it's him. And it's before Trump was in office. Obama was still in office. Trump had already won the election, was coming in on the 20th of January. He'd done this at the beginning of January before Trump was even in office. And he told everybody about this, and then here it is. See, the name's in the comments section right now, the last name. And he literally told everybody about this, and I've watched the video, seen it, and it's as real as it gets. And I don't call that an accident. It's just I can't do it.
I don't know. This is just, I mean, people down here in San Antonio, I mean, they're like completely freaking out about this whole thing. Heck, to the point even Trump is even telling people to stop overbuying everything. I even went down to HEB today and, it's like, almost certain items are not even stocked anymore, or they just keep running out so quickly. Even the mayor here is getting tired of it.
Yeah, it's called panic buying. And, and they're going to, but this is what they want. They want fear. They want panic. If they scare you bad enough and keep it going long enough, you're going to give up your rights. That's what they're hoping. What's that?
Oh, I was saying, like, do you think this might be a way they're trying to implement martial law?
I do see martial law happening because what they're going to do is keep reporting the numbers going up, and then pretty soon it'll become because you're not listening and you're not staying in your house. This is why the numbers are going up. And once it gets to that stage, then they will declare martial law. You watch. Okay? This ain't going to be over anytime soon. You're going to watch them. I mean, the end of April's going to get here and they're going to extend it again. And they're going to extend it again.
Yep. You know, the mayor down here in San Antonio, Mayor Ron Nirenberg, is even trying to implement people not even going to parks now, too.
Yeah, that'll be on the agenda. I see that coming all across this country. Okay. And people are going to be, you're going to be coming into summer, and normally heat would kill a virus off. You watch this one, a morph, and it'll live right through the summer.
You think this whole epidemic's going to go through the summer?
Oh, yes. Because this was rehearsed last year. All the evidence is out there. They rehearsed this from January of 2019 of a global pandemic, and then up to August. And then the first case was reported in December and over in China. Okay. And then the first case in the United States was actually reported in January, but we didn't know about it until February. But it just goes right behind a rehearsal. You have Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, George Soros, Rockefellers, Rothschilds. You have big names that were all involved this all along. This whole thing last year when they did the rehearsal was Homeland Security, okay, and which is FEMA, of course, and then we had Human Services, okay. All of these entities got together with your leaders, our president and stuff, and rehearsed this all last year. And now we're doing the same rehearsal live. But see, this stuff was passed into law years ago. That they're allowed to do drills like this and exercises and report and go live with them and report them as really happening when they're not happening at all. You go by all these different hospitals that's supposed to have patients and they're not busy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, on a global scale, all governments are involved.
Damn. This is insane, and I don't even know. I mean, I don't think most people are gonna be able to tolerate this epidemic mentally.
Well, now I would agree with you on that. I think there's a lot of people that's just going to lose it. But maybe that's what it's going to take is people going from fear to anger and losing it and coming out and rebelling back to stop them.
That's the only. I think that's the only way you're going to stop it.
Is if there's a uprising.
Yes. I think that's about the only way you're going to stop it. And the sad thing is they've been bringing military equipment in here for years. And so I got a feeling they've got this country pretty much set up. And this could be the catalyst that leads us into World War III.
It might be like a global civil war, like a country attacking within itself.
But I know it's a power grab. That's about what it is. The closing of the stores down early the way it is to get you used to a curfew. Okay, because they want you in your house at a certain time.
Yeah, that's like 1990s Iraq.
Yes. And people really need to be paying attention to what's going on. I've seen way too much evidence already. I've seen posts from people all over the world, and I've seen videos from different countries from people, and it's all the same thing, man. I mean, even in my town, I got a pretty big clinic here, and there's never been a time in my entire life that that clinic isn't busy. And now you go down there and you got to stand behind the tape and the shield on the counter and talk to them from a distance. And I go in to get my blood drawn, and normally there's always 6 to 7 people ahead of me. Now there's nobody in there. And you go, and then the gal behind the counter is the one that comes, takes you back to draw your blood. You know, you go through the whole clinic, and there's just like an empty lot, and not very many people there. And I say, "What's up with you? Ain't got nobody in it? Oh, everybody's scared of Corona, so we're slow because of that." You know, and you watch these people like Jason Goodman and other people that have went around major hospitals and up in New York, okay, and it's in your face. You can't get around it. Live streaming and going outside a hospital and trying to talk to paramedics and doctors and doing this time after time after time and going where the hot spots are at and where the patients are supposed to be, and there's no activity. Everything's dead.
You know, it's even like that in Las Vegas. Have you heard of a YouTuber named Black Bugatti? He used to
No.
go by the name Black Bigot, but he's kind of a nomad. He lives in his van and he travels around the country. I actually seen his live stream earlier today, being at the strip over in Las Vegas, and it's pretty much like a ghost town over there now.
Yeah.
But
I think it's a big power grab, but possibly it could be a reset because everything's right for World War III. Because when you really look into it, you find out everything that was going on before World War One, and the price of oil, the national debt, the everything was a match to now. Same with World War II, a match to what it is now. You've noticed gas prices coming down. Okay, you look how far in debt we are, and it's over in Sweden. They've already shut down some banks, and the communities, some of the communities over in Sweden, have been living cashless for well over a year, and that is their plan for the entire globe. So I think there's several things involved here. I think there's a chance we could see us go cashless. At the same time, I think there's a big power grab.
Yep.
And to reshape this country and in all the countries that are going through this to be just like China. That's really honestly what I suspect is going down, and I don't know how bad it's going to get, but I'll tell you what, if they declare martial law and we start seeing troops on our streets, you better look out, because most likely it won't be American troops on your streets.
You think it'll be Chinese?
I think it'll be foreign. I'm hoping it's not the blue hats.
Blue hats? What are those?
Oh, that's the United Nations.
Oh.
You'll have China and Russia.
Oh, that would not be good.
So, and if we start seeing these kind of troops show up on our streets, you know why our troops won't be here to defend us? Because our troops will be over there on their streets.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, he's already activated the National Guard, and he's already made a recall of 1 million people back into the service. How long it'll take him to get them back in, I don't know.
He's already drafted soldiers who've been already recently gotten discharged.
Yes, he's doing that right now.
I hope they don't do that to me. I already did my time, and I hope they don't try to find a loophole around that.
Yeah, I can't say. I got a nephew who was in the Navy for 8 years. It's been out for about 8, 9 years now, but it don't mean he couldn't be put back in.
I mean, the government can do whatever they want to do, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I don't want to say what troops are going to be here. I see Steve says Russian troops are not coming to our coming here. Well, I don't want to say what troops ain't coming where, because we just have to play this out. Okay, that's all we can do. I would say, they're not reporting anything. It's like supposedly our troops are being going to the Caribbean to fight the war on drugs in the middle of this, and that's BS. That's complete BS.
Yeah. Question is-
Oh yeah, well, I know what Steve's saying, and I know the Germans and the American troops were practicing together before this corona took place. So there's a good chance it could be German troops on our streets.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of interest German troops would have coming over here.
Well, we've already have I mean, ever since the end of World War II, we brought all their top scientists over here.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, Walt Disney actually had some ex-Nazi animators working for him as well. There was always like this thing about like I saw it on Family Guy and a few other shows, basically where they were like basically linking Walt Disney to Nazis or to like anti-Semitic kind of things.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really weird.
Well, like if you look on Family Guy, where they actually did like the trans universe, and they were actually in the Disney World, and they basically as soon as Walt came in, he's kind of the orange-headed, freckled guy that's on the show, and they just all of a sudden just started shouting Jew, and they just beat the tar out of him for that. But
Oh, really?
I did look at some history. I think it was from the channel called Blame It on George, because he does like a lot of reviews on like old cartoons and things like that. I think he said actually a lot of animators that Walt Disney has hired was actually Nazis, Nazi animators.
That
Yes.
that wouldn't surprise me a bit. Now go ahead, guys.
I was going to say, Steve was saying that they will kill people in the nursing homes. This is what I was getting at earlier. They see these seniors as being a drain on the system because they're having Social Security or their pension or old age security, and we call it in Canada. They see that our governments are in debt. They see seniors as a drain on the system, just like disabled people, and you'll see it. You go out in public, these people who are hoarding stuff from the grocery stores. It's always these young, nouveau riche, narcissistic families hoarding filling their SUV with a bunch of crap, and 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 so that that there are no eggs or essential items left over for the senior who can't drive to another grocery store, right? And here's the thing: these same narcissistic families who are hoarding items and only thinking about themselves, they don't give a shit about their parents. They'll let their parents rot in the least reputable nursing home as long as it's on the cheap.
Yeah. Hey, Hulk, did you happen to see the
100%
video? Did you happen to see the video of that this couple? They had their pickup truck. I guess they knew somebody that worked at some Walmart, and they pulled their pickup truck around the back of the store, and they loaded up like half the store's supply of toilet paper into their truck and just took off. I mean, they must have had about 5,000 rolls of toilet paper all loaded up. I don't know if you happen to see that, but yeah, those are the kind of people that are out there hoarding all these supplies.
Yeah.
I hope that they get. If they go after anybody, I hope that they go after people like that.
Oh, big time.
This whole thing about like them saying like the disabled and the elderly are being the leeches of the society, but turning a blind eye to like the illegal immigration coming over here and all these welfare kings and queens that are able-bodied but are just choosing to, leech off the system, and they're not looking at them as being a nuisance.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Well,
course
when
not.
those people are older, they're not gonna, there's not gonna be nothing in place for them. So,
I mean, they're not even getting that much off SSI. I mean, I worked in an environmental company, and I've actually talked to an elderly lady who's on SSI. She has her son living with her,
Yeah.
and to help pay the remainder of the mortgage, and she's only getting like $1,300 a month.
Yeah, you can't live on SSI alone. There's no way.
No.
You got to have something. You got to have investments, or you got to have a pension or something like that to supplement that.
Yeah, and I don't even think they've had an increase in SSI since like 2008.
Right.
Well, you know, the thing is before World War One and World War II both, the first thing they did is they went after the elderly, the handicapped, and the homeless.
In America, or are you talking about the Nazis?
Well, the Nazis done it. They also done it over here. So I would not be surprised if we see stuff on. So I think Mr. Hoka has a valid point to be worried about his mother. Okay, because you know, it is just that's how history keeps replaying itself over and over and over. You know, and that's really what we're witnessing is a repeat of history, but in a different manner, but the same thing.
Mm.
It's like
Yeah,
go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I was just going to say they're just doing it in a slower, more methodical way. That's all. That's the only difference.
Yeah. You know, and they have a tendency of waiting enough years between the wars that a lot of the people from the wars already passed away, are up in age and not, two already dying or passed away, and then they can repeat it. And people, that's why, like after World War One, they ripped all the history books out of the school systems across America, and then replaced them. That was no accident. That was deliberately done.
Right.
It helps to keep people from recognizing what's going on when it's right in their face.
Yeah. You know, not only produce and toiletries and things are like that are people stocking up on, but even down here in San Antonio, like I've been going to like different places trying to get at least some weapon over here, and all the guns are pretty much sold out, just about.
Yeah, they'll make good sales on the arms, but it's a question, I have to question how far they're going to go this round or they're going to go all the way. Sometimes I feel these people are just sick enough they might think, let's just go all the way. And if they go all the way, then this thing's, there's forecasts of this going on 14 to 18 months.
Yeah. A lot of these people that are flipping out about this, I mean, who are taking it the hardest, I mean, this ain't nothing right now. The only people who I think are going to, like I'm talking about like this new generation, the only people who are going to be able to tolerate this better is going to be either people who've been in jail or people who've been in the military.
Well, I think that's the reason they're making a big recall on the military, is they don't want the public having a bunch of trained soldiers, okay, as they're doing this. And I think that's why you're seeing what's going on. I haven't figured out the total truth behind why they sent them to the Caribbeans. Okay, why Trump's deploying our troops over to the Caribbeans, but I know it's not on no damn war on drugs.
No.
But the thing is they get our troops out. They get our troops out of the country. We're open turf. They bring foreign troops over here, and we've already seen one person saying that China's already pointing their finger at the United States. And this is all a big act to begin with because they're all in bed together. So these governments across the world just start pointing their fingers at each other, and then they get us, the sheeple, to go kill each other for their agendas.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the leaders will all be at their safe place, so they'll be in their damn underground tunnels. The only thing we could do is sit it out, watch it. There's not a lot we can do, but if things get really super bad, I would hope that people rise up, but I got a feeling we won't. You ain't going to see that happen. I think too many people are going to cower down and give up their rights.
Well, how do we move? How do we rise up when all the media outlets are a monopoly controlled by a few corporations? See, I hate to be negative, but I don't see it happening. They control the narrative.
I know what you're saying. I do understand you.
Because the stigma is if you oppose the mainstream media, then you're a kook.
Well, you know who the real kooks are? The people who sit back and give up all their rights. It'll be like here in Iowa. When I went down and switched my license over and I got run smack right into the Real ID Act that I was fighting against 10 years ago. And here they got the Real ID Act through that Trump has just recently suspended temporarily. Okay. And that gal up the license bureau says, well, since 9/11, it's better give up some liberty for security, you know. And it was Thomas Jefferson that made the statement anybody that gives up liberty for security deserves neither.
Well, people think the problem is people think they're sane because this few monopolies that control the media. Well, the TV told me so.
Oh, there you go. It's the TV told me so.
Well, that's why I think this is hopeless.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's going to change. I think that we're going to see we're witnessing the formation of a corporate oligarchy.
Yeah.
And all the NATO Western countries.
I'll go with what Monty said.
Cashless societies.
Yes. I'm going to go with Monty's words, okay? It's Italian dictatorship, Italian takeover.
Right.
They're going to take your rights away. I mean, we're already living in a dictatorship anyhow. People think they aren't, but you are. I mean, a prime example is even the video I did today, okay? It didn't even last an hour. And it was gone. I had no notice that they were taking it down. I got no strikes, no warnings, no nothing. It was just gone.
Well, you know, something else that I thought about, Bill, just to chime in real quick, is, you know, we're talking about how they're pushing for an economic reset, which is eventually going to lead to a cashless society. A cashless society would not be a bad thing if everybody was given the wealth that they needed to live a happy, healthy life and support a family. But we all know, based upon what the powers that be do in a cashless society system run by these demonic entities, that's never going to happen. They're going to hoard the vast majority of the wealth for themselves, 99.9% of it, and leave the rest of the population to fight for the scraps.
Hey, I wanted to answer Steve Hoka's question. Said, why do yahoos love their government? Well, it's quite simple. I mean, to sum it all up, I would say some kind of social engineering. Basically, you know, they can say that they're good and most idiots will believe them. You know, most people can't really think on their own or think outside of the box. So, of course, you know, they're looking at the government as their, you know, pseudo daddy, so to speak.
Well, right? Steve's here with us, so I'll let Steve answer.
I saw it in the comments. My bad.
That's all right. He's in here with us now. Hello, Steve.
How you doing, Bill?
I'm not doing too shabby.
Hey, did you see my video?
I haven't seen it yet. Didn't even know. I didn't got no notification that you put it up neither.
Okay, well you see it. You'll see it. This video shows this guy. It's a crisis actor. I'm surprised you didn't see it. That's okay. Just watch it later. So.
Yeah, well, I knew you told me about it, and I watched for a notification. You know, and I never saw a notification that you even posted it. So.
Yeah, you know. I don't know how that happened. How could you not get a notification and everyone else did? Because maybe a lot of people didn't get the notification because it didn't get a lot of views. So I don't know what happened, but
well, YouTube gets notorious for that sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, Monty Graff said when you stop getting notifications to clear your cache completely out, okay?
Yeah.
And after you clear your cache, everything off, clear your cache out, unsubscribe from the person that you're not getting the notices from, and then go back and resubscribe after clearing your cache, and then it'll work fine. That it's a software glitch.
Yeah.
Hey Steve, what's that video you're talking about? I'll go actually watch it later.
Watch it. Oh, it's on my channel. It's the very last video I did.
A TFL World's Personal Meeting Room.
Yeah, it's not called that. It's you've got my name is Steve Hoka, STEVEHOCA. That's my channel name.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on it right now.
Yeah, it's the last video. I've been doing some live streams lately, video live streams, but it's called TFL meeting room. That's how I do those now. But it's basically I covered how Chris Cuomo was claiming that he's got COVID-19. He's his brother's the governor of New York, and it's fake because it serves him to do it because then it makes it look like, hey, we're fighting the good cause to break down barriers and all this other shit or lock down the state. It's this massive corruption. This everyone is complicit. By the way, I wanted to say something about Jason Goodman, Bill. Jason Goodman brought on this guy named what's his name? Jerome Corsi, Dr. Jerome Corsi. The guy's a fraud. He's a shill. Everybody left bad comments in there. Jerome Corsi is a made for mass consumption shill. He's part of NWO. He's a total fraud.
That wouldn't surprise me, okay? Don't surprise me a bit because Jason Goodman is an employee of the establishment.
Yeah, but he brings this guy on his show, and the guy is heralding all the things that Trump is doing and all this shit. And he did the same thing back in 2004 and 5 when Bush was running for re-election. Jerome Corsi is a fraud. He's a fucking fraud. He's a shill of the establishment. I have followed him longer than I've even known you, Bill. That's how long I followed him. And he's nothing but a shill. And everything that comes out of his mouth is just propaganda that's pro-war, pro-military, pro-system. He will defend the system till the bitter end. And Jason got so many nasty comments, and Jason started getting lippy with some of his commenters. Well, if you don't like it, then get off of here, type of shit, you know. And Jason is not all 100% there. He brings on some really skeptical people on his show that I'm very suspicious about.
Well, that's because, see, Jason Goodman is like so many others, like Holy Demigod, okay, like Roy Potter, Monty Graff. And even though I watch some of these guys, I'm pretty much awake to know when they're feeding bullshit. And the minute I start hearing bullshit, I exit off. I don't even finish watching because I don't need to hear it.
What's Jason's last name?
Goodman.
Goodman. Goodman.
Goodman. Okay. Oh,
I want to bookmark those pages. He's got some good stuff. The thing me and Bill have learned to do over the years is read between the lines. We are very good at both deciphering through the bullshit. And although Jason Goodman's got a lot of good content with the streets, he seems to fail short of calling, like he's like saying, well, I'm not saying that this corona isn't real or it's not serious. He kind of like touches around the edges, and I don't like that about him. He doesn't just say, fuck, this is a scam. He just, well, he's asking good questions, though. I'm going to give him credit for doing what he's doing. But then he brings on this guy named Jerome Corsi, and Jerome Corsi supports Trump. He supports the New World Order. He supports big military. He supports endless wars in the Middle East. He's a fucking shill, is all he is. He totally is. Stay away from that Dr. Jerome Corsi. I followed him for years. He is nothing but a fucking shill.
Yeah, a lot of these pundits and radio commentators I find to be just like these so-called progressive politicians. They're not challenging anything that Trump is doing or Obama did, etc. They're all in it. They're all in on it.
I'll tell you something else that bothers the shit out of me. We got a local guy named Mike Trevisano on the 1100 AM, and he's a fucking fat 400 a pound 70-year-old guy that drinks and smokes, and he's real arrogant. He's a real gravelly voice. He's got a real cocky, gravelly voice. He's a real big mouth piece of shit. And he gets on there thinking Trump is such a good guy. Trump can do no wrong. And he does this purposely. He doesn't want to gravitate toward the conspiracy end of this because he doesn't want to lose his fucking job. He's a useless fat fuck is what he is. And he's a 400-pound fat Italian guy that sits in a chair and he smokes and drinks, or at least I know he smokes. And he's like, oh, I'm so healthy. He's a real arrogant prick. And this is what the mainstream, the local media has. You're never going to get anybody to buck the system. They are not going to look at this long term and realize that we're going into a new world order. That's just all there is to it. And the people that call in, I mean, he'll say, well, I don't really agree with that. Yeah, bullshit. Yes, he does agree with that, but he's too fucking arrogant. He wants his money,
Yep.
What's his name?
Mike Trevisano.
Mike Trip
Trivsano.
Okay,
You can
I
find
think
him. He doesn't have a big channel on YouTube. He's on 1100 AM. If you go online, it's WTAM, WTAM.com or WTAM1100.com. It's WTAM1100. And you could just Google that and then it'll take you to the website. But you might want to listen to him on the rate, even though he's in the Cleveland area, you might want to listen to him on the live stream because he's a real big loudmouth guy and he just supports the system. He supports Trump. There was a reporter that actually talked back to Trump today. She goes, what do you mean by, see, I guess Trump is trying to round up all the medical equipment and nationalize it. So if let's say locally, there's a lot of people with ventilators here, he wants to get those all in federal hands. And that woman was talking about that today. And he got real blippy. And then if Mike Trivsano's defending her, going, he's got this real irritating, gravelly voice. You just want to stick a shoe down his throat. Oh,
yeah,
Steve. Piece of shit.
Steve, we got a guy just like that in the Boston area named Howie Carr. He's exactly like that. Same thing. He's on WBZ AM 1030 AM radio or something like that. He's also got a column in the one of the local. I think it's the Boston Herald newspaper. But same
Mike
exact deal.
Trivsano changes his opinion every time. He'll say I'm pro-union, then he's anti-union, then he's for the government, then he's against. But the biggest thing that he does is no matter how much the government lies, as long as it's a Republican, they can do no wrong. And I'm sick of this fucking shit. But with this COVID, all he did yesterday was say, well, how are we going to get this economy in Cleveland back? But he doesn't want to touch the hard issues because he doesn't want to lose his $200,000 or $150,000 a year fucking paycheck or whatever he's making. He wants to make that easy fucking money. And I can't stand the guy. I really want to call him up. I'd like to take a fucking shoe and shove it down his fucking throat.
I'm looking at his picture right now.
He's a fat fucker, weighs about 400 pounds. He's 70 years old, and he smokes like a chimney, and he's still sucking oxygen. I mean, this is a guy that should have died of diabetes 30 years ago.
He looks like Michael Moore and Kenny Rogers had a love child.
Yes, he looks exactly like that. He's real fat, but he's a real prick. And he gets on the radio, and he starts his big mouth shit. And he, and of course, no matter what these callers do when they call in, they'll tell him, I don't trust the government. That he wants to stay away from the conspiracy end of this. But the people in Cleveland are very vigilant. We're so fucking tired of this. They're seeing it that half the callers are really sick of this shit. And they're seeing what a scam this is. And we take pride in our sports teams, but in our restaurants too, because that's the lifeblood of this town, all along with the manufacturing jobs we still have here. So we can't afford to lose that. We don't have tourists like big cities like San Antonio have, or we have to depend mainly on our jobs in our restaurants. And this is hurting our economy. And this fat fucker, all he does is just defend the system and Trump. And I'm sick of it. I'm really tired. Of course, there's another guy, Dennis Maniloff, same old thing. Doesn't want to touch the tough issues. They get these guys locally. So WTAM, you might want to listen to him when you get a chance and just see what a arrogant prick he is.
Yeah, they never do, Steve. And as soon as you try to ask them questions about it, they attack you.
Right. And you'll never get through. I mean, you'll get through the line because WTM's not hard to get on. It's just that you'll get in there and you'll start to bring this up and then they won't want to hear it. And damn well these are thought out answers because they have to, at some cognizant level, know that if I go too far, Ray Davis is the president of WTAM. Ray Davis is the news director. And he knows damn well that Ray Davis is going to come up to him and say, look, you need to shut your big mouth and that. So these people already have been vetted in advance. They're told when they have their meetings, they talk about what we're not going to talk about. So that's
exactly.
And you know what? At the end of the day, if we go into a police state, all these people are going to get swallowed up by the New World Order anyways, because the Stalin used to kill the very people that supported him.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he used to what Stalin used to do is during the Stalin's reign, everybody that was loyal to him, he would create mock trials and say, you tried to betray me. And they would say, no, we didn't, Sir Stalin or Lord Stalin. And he'd send them out to the gulag and they would die of frostbite or they would be shot, one or the other. And so, this, I'll tell you something. Bill said something, and you know who talked about this 10, 12 years ago? That Alan Watt said that the model for America is China.
Yes.
We're going to model China as far as a one world government. It's going to be very similar to that. And
Yes,
that's unfortunate.
And the other thing I can add on to that is I think the reason you're seeing China's economy coming back up is because they leave all the other economies crash. They bring China's economy back up because that's when they're gonna, role model China into America, China into over here, China into over there, and everything
Hey,
becomes
Bill,
like
you know
China.
how they're going to, Bill, I figured something else out. You know how they're going to round up the guns? There's going to be patriots that fight this stuff. So when they bring on National Guard and let's say UN troops on, a few people will shoot at them because they'll be sick of it. And then they'll all say, now we have to do it to protect our troops. They'll come up with some cockamamie excuse to disband the Second Amendment. They're going to use it. They're going to blame the patriots who fight back as rabble rousers. And we need to protect everybody.
Oh yeah, homegrown terrorist, right, Steve?
Oh, it's a fucking scam. It always is. Bill, I tell you something. I am not afraid at all to stand up to this this ridiculous nonsense. And I can't unfortunately tell Mike Trevisano to his face. I could call him on the air. I could probably meet him in person at his place or at the station. I could say, hey, look, why don't you talk about this? But there's nothing you can do about this. These people are bought and paid for. They don't want to lose that $200,000 a year paycheck if they're a local guy. They're making good money. He's making advertising. So they're all going to keep it on the straight and narrow. They'll talk about tough things, but they're not going to delve into maybe your fucking president is part of the fucking problem.
Right.
Trump, there's a lot of very intelligent people that think the coronavirus thing is fake, but they still keep riding the Trump bandwagon. And that fucking is the mistake they're making. Trump is lying to you.
He sure is.
He's lying. He's not. I mean, he's got this. Trump is not being truthful about this. He's telling they're doing. I love this term he uses. Everybody's doing a great job. A great job. He likes to use that term, a great job. Like he's like a corporate CEO. You're doing a great job. Great job, my ass. Every governor in the states is just lying. And then we got this bimbo, Amy Acton in Ohio. They're giving her the direction to determine where the state goes as far as COVID-19. She's preening her hair while she's talking. It's so ridiculous. And all these people leave comments like, "Oh, she's beautiful. She's hot."
Oh, these guys are there pathetic. You go. That's typical, isn't it, Steve?
And that's why I refer to a lot of men as scrotal sacks, Bill, because that's what they literally are. I mean, that's just.
Well, I have a female governor in my state, and her entire crew is always females. So if you ever want to see nothing but a female in control.
Wow, I'd like to see. I'll go online and I'll look for it. Iowa, yeah, wow.
Yep, her entire crew, nothing but females.
I'll tell you something right now that this thing is playing out in a very ugly way because here's my fear. My mom's in the nursing home. They may force her to take a COVID-19. I think a lot of people are going to drop dead from this COVID-19 vaccine. They're going to die from it. I really do. There's going to be people dropping dead from it. I mean, I think it's going to be ugly. You're not going to be able to travel without it. But it's a very ugly thing. Bill, I'm fortunate that I have a trade skill, but a lot of people, but even I am not going to be unscathed from this situation because if we're in lockdown, we're fucked.
No, there's no guarantee for us men out of this. This economic, this is going to devastate men disproportionately over women. I'm telling you.
Women are gonna get their pussy passed. They're already getting it now. They're staying home and they're getting stupid scrotal sacks to pay them money so that they can be their virtual friend.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Hey, Bill, are you in Minnesota? Do you have that representative Ian Omar or whatever her name is?
I'm not in Minnesota no more. I ain't been there in quite a few months. I'm back in my hometown. I'm back in Iowa. That's why I was telling Steve that the governor of Iowa, is a female, and everybody she has on up with her are females.
Yeah.
It's the female posse in my state.
Hey, Steve, I saw on one of the on the live stream, someone asked you if how do you think let me see how Caucasian women are going to benefit from this or something?
Oh, they're benefiting already because women aren't suffering at any point here. Now, what has happened? I Googled this up. I found this on YouTube. Domestic violence is going up in the house, and it's against women. So something that First said. Now, First is a little radical, so he pointed this out. But I researched it. If you look up COVID-19 and then space domestic violence on YouTube, there's like 20 different videos in the last like month, and they're talking about now that people are homebound, there is more domestic violence going on. So I think a lot of women are going to be feeling the wrath of this shit. Not that I want this to happen. I really don't want to see anybody get hurt, but I think that there are going to be some women that are knocked off their pedestal.
I think, yeah, that could be a factor. Like the women in their 30s and 40s who gravitated towards these dominator type guys.
Hey, have y'all ever heard of that dictator called Idi Amin from Uganda?
Yeah, Idi Amin. Yeah, but that's old history. Yeah, I know who he was. He was a dictator from yeah, but yeah, I know who he was.
The question I was going to say, do you think once this whole snowball effect gets bigger and bigger, hopefully not with this whole COVID-19 case going around, do you think they may also have a secret police as well, like Idi Amin has done?
Yeah, I mean that's Idi Amin had that. The Gestapo had that. The Shah of Iran had Savat. They were like a secret police force. Yeah, I think they will, and I don't think there's much choice. I think most of us patriots are going to die. I don't think there's much hope, and I would like to think there are some groups of people. A lot of these Second Amendment people, the biggest problem I have with them is they literally believe that the president is going to help them in tough times, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that Trump is going to just allocate the power to the states, and the states are just going to bring in the fucking troops because they can do that. I mean, they can. I mean, Trump is kind of already giving states like New York and California the right to kind of do what they want to do, and what are they doing? They're not buckling down the states, you know.
I mean, the government's going to do whatever they can to justify their wages.
Yeah.
So they're going to make a whole fiasco and get the people all, scurried up about this whole ordeal that's going around. And especially if it gets bigger, like as you say about the Patriots basically fighting back, fighting against a tyrannical government, and then they're going to turn that around and say we're the tyrants.
Yeah, I know what they're going to do, and this is all typical. All these people, okay, I'm going to just give Bill the briefing of this video because I'm fucking impatient. I thought he'd seen it. Bill, I put up a video on CNN about this doctor that died. It was okay, that Andrew Cuomo claims that he's got COVID. Well, he interviewed this guy. I guess this doctor that passed away was married to a man, and it was this guy that was crying in the interview. And this guy is bawling his eyes out, but no tears come out of his eyes and no snot's coming out. And he's like wiping his eyes, but there's no tears at all.
So,
and then there was
he's like constantly wiping his eyes when there ain't no tears.
He was like looked like he was like ready to cry 1,000 tears, but there's not a tear that comes out of this guy's. I fucking know this is a crisis actor. I'm telling you, this stuff is fucking fake. I'm telling you.
You know what? It don't surprise me because I was wondering how long they go before they started pulling crisis actors out.
They're already doing well. They do this like anytime there's those school shootings, like Sandy Hook was crisis actors. I mean, it was proven they were.
Exactly.
I mean, it and it's like we got all these crisis actors. It's not hard. Why is it not hard to believe there's crisis actors? If I was going to hold a commercial for doing a Cheerios commercial, there's 50,000 people that line up to be in that commercial. This is how pathetic the masses are. They all want to be movie stars. They all want to be famous.
Oh yes.
Crisis actors are a dime a fucking dozen. I'm telling you, it's pathetic. These people are pathetic.
That I totally agree with you. I mean, you're right. They're a dime a dozen because anybody and everybody wants to be a star.
Yep.
They're all lining up to sell out their own country too.
Yeah, but that guy, that local, like you said, you had a local guy in your town that's like that. He's pro-Trump and everything.
Oh yeah, he's like the same age too. He's like when he's like 70 years old, and you know, he's
Yeah, this Mike Trevisano's a fat fucker. He's like 400 pounds or 390 pounds. He's just a big whale of a guy. He's arrogant as fuck. Brags that
Yeah.
he's so healthy, but he doesn't do. He smokes, and I get to live forever. I'm on.
That dude needs to lay off them cheeseburgers. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, he pounds that he's not healthy, but yet well he is. He brags he is. But the point is, just like he's an arrogant mother. I really hate arrogant people, and I don't like really. You know, I think there's a special place in I really believe these people are gonna fucking go to hell. Some of these arrogant people. I don't like arrogant people at all. I'm very humble. I talk to people. I'm very direct with them, but I don't like arrogant people that just want to live their lives being fucking liars, and they think that they're going to outsmart God or something. And I'm kind of religious about this. I do think we have to answer for creator to a creator, and I don't want to be at the worst end of it, you know, because you got to get right. And you know, the best thing you can do is tell the truth and tell people your way you feel. If you don't like what's going on in this country, you got to tell them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Most
Steve. Yep.
most
I mean,
folks are just too scared to speak their mind about it.
Well,
Yeah.
speak their mind and put their name and face out there too.
I don't really care anymore. It hasn't caused me any grief. Although I think things in the future could be quite different.
Right, right. I worry about it for like job and all this.
You know what, though? I'm going to tell you something, guys. I know why you fear it, but I think the fear is a lot more unrealistic than you really imagine. I don't know. Everybody has got like I deliver. I'm a manager of a Domino's Pizza. I'm afraid I could lose my job. I don't think they would give a fuck if you were managing, or I don't know. Maybe there's some jobs that really put you out there. You know, if you have an unusual first and last name, it could create problems for you. Who knows?
Right.
Anyways, I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
could be a wild card. But you know, it's just it's a big contrast with these MGTOW guys who are, you hear these deep voice. It's kind of creepy. Like they're so evasive. They're the opposite of you, Steve. Like
Yeah, well, like Stardust, he's got these. He looks like Shrek. He's about a 2.2 out of 10, and he doesn't want to show his face out there. I've seen what he looks like. I know what he looks like. He's not honest about things. I mean, the MGTOW community is the biggest fraud in the world. So remember, do you guys ever hear of that guy who goes by the name the Wandering Wojak?
I've heard of that name.
I did see your video, Steve, about Sandman, though.
What about him?
No, just like you know, your video on him.
Yeah, well, I feel like Sandman is just they're all very evasive and cowardly. I thought the whole fucking MGTOW community is disgusting. It's a tit for a tat. Oh, did you see that girl? She made fun of her boyfriend and then she pooped her pants. He ain't that funny. You know, they're always talking about the same old shit. False rape allegations. This they always regurgitate the same old bullshit. They can't really deal with the TFL problem because they really know that the crux of most guys living in the MGTOW is that they're not getting any pussy. Pardon my language. That's why they're fucking pissed. They're not getting any women. Yeah.
Do you know if that Eastern European guy from I think he's from the west end of the Greater Toronto. I think I know where he's from, but he's from the Toronto area. Alex on Life, that's his name. Do you know whether he's TFL or not? He
is TFL. He is most certain. He's from divorced, I think, but he's TFL for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so he just sort of says
what I don't like about him is he's obsessed with sex. The whole he's very intelligent, by the way. He's a little bit of a weird guy. He's a strange bird. He's not a guy that you could be good friends with. But he does have a lot of golden gems of nuggets of truth in what he says because I've listened to a lot of his stuff and he's pretty sure. But he's kind of a weirdo. You know, he's just not. He's a strange bird. Just looking at him, I know people like that too.
Well, a lot of these Eastern European guys in Toronto, they're definitely
they're highly TFL. It's
TFL.
very big TFL. Yeah, East European guys in Toronto are very TFL, and you know a lot of their parents flew over here in the 70s on a 747. They were teachers or doctors. They came over here, and their kids though are fucking all their boys are TFL. All of them are TFL.
Oh, big time.
Sandman's parents are from I think Yugoslavia, if I'm not mistaken. He's Eastern European too.
Yes, you're right about that.
He's but most of your like TFL guys are from Toronto or Eastern European usually. That's what they usually
It's
are.
like a recipe for disaster.
Oh, it is because it when you live in a city like Toronto where you have like unlimited nationalities, it doesn't fare very well to be different. Like you almost have to be Anglo looking, or I don't even think Anglos fare well as much. And Toronto's changed so badly. Toronto is a very anti-male period. It's just ugly place to be.
Most
I don't know.
Italian guys in Toronto don't look like that at all.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Most Italian guys in Toronto, I can see they're starting to plunge into TFL because they tend to be too individualistic and too masculine for these.
Yeah.
These women want a guy like Zach Scuderi, a very, very feminine, androgynous, or it's that maybe the older women still like the Anglo.
You have to be really submissive to have a woman. That's why a lot of guys have gravitated toward the social justice warriors, because it's the closest thing they can get to getting any pussy.
Well, I'll tell you firsthand, femininity is the secret to increase. Well, it's not a shoo-in, it's not a guarantee, but it's the secret to dramatically increasing your chances with women in their 20s and maybe.
I don't even get that. I would think that women are more attracted to masculine. I would think. No, well,
you're not living in
because they're an easy person to control. You know.
Well, that's the problem. You're thinking that's what women would like. Now, me and you are probably a lot older. I'm 49, so I'm not going to even attempt to be feminine at this age. I mean, that would be foolish as hell. But if I was 20, 21, and I was as smart as I am now, I would be very tempted to do it because it's the secret to getting validation from women, which is degrading as hell. But, women just simply aren't interested in men anymore. And I've never seen anything so Orwellian in my entire life. Like it's like you got super good looking guys that are 6'2", that are chiseled with muscles that can't get a girlfriend to save their life. And this is absolutely insane. It is absolutely
that women in their 20s are absolutely a bore masculinity. Look at that video by what's his name, there's that MGTOW guy. He posted a video where he was trying to put this what was he say? He was calling out this woman for leading him on in a gym or something. What the fuck?
Yeah, you're talking about Red Pill Brotherhood.
Red Pill Brotherhood. Okay, watch that video where he's in the gym and then the woman just snaps back and puts him in his place.
Well, did you see that video?
Yeah, that proves that this whole masculine.
Well, I actually archived that one video. I archived the audio from that video because I was going to put that back up. It's just audio. It's not a video. It's actually audio only. It's a black background. But he basically stated that he called out this woman on her shit, and then she fucking flew off on him and says, "Hey, don't talk to me." She basically told him, "Hey, go F yourself," because masculine men, she actually he backed down to her because he realized that she was not playing around,
It's a good lesson for him to realize the reality of
Well, remember how he was giving people twice his age dating advice? What an idiot.
Oh, he's like that guy. What was that? I think he was a Germanic guy, I think, or maybe Scandinavian or something. And he was saying it's time for men to be men again. And he said he was coaching some guy twice his age about how his wife is tell him to put his wife in his place.
Are you talking about Casey Zander?
Yes.
Oh, that guy's a freaking moron. He's like 30 years old or 25. He's like 26 or something. He's not that old.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his ethnic stock is. He's not a bad looking.
He's not bad looking, but the point is that he's giving guys faulty advice. That PUA does not work. Game does not work. It's fraud. It's a fraud. Game does not work.
I think he would be better off.
Speaking of PUA, Roosh V is actually getting out of game too.
Yeah, Roosh is becoming religious. Roosh doesn't love God. Roosh knows what a fuck up his life's been. He realizes that shit never did work for him. He was paying prostitutes. He basically financed all his lays, is what he did. That's all Roosh ever did. Roosh never got laid for free. He financed his lays.
Yeah.
Right. It's sort of like you would be better off taking that approach from that. You remember that 50s movie called Marty?
Yes, that was a great movie. That was an Academy Award winner. He won. I think he won an Academy. Yeah, that was a that. By the way, Bill, there was a movie from 1955 called Marty. It was the first delving into the TFL situation.
I don't think I've ever saw that neither. It was
With
1955.
yeah, from with Ernest Borgnine, and it was about a guy that was living with his mother. His brother was married, and I think he had an older brother and a couple brothers that were married, but he couldn't find a woman, and he was crying to his mom. He says, "Mom," he goes, "every time I go out, I deal with the same thing." He goes, "Why don't you just admit I'm ugly?" And his mom goes, "You're no ugly." He goes, "I'm ugly. I'm ugly." And it's really a good movie. It really is. He finally finds a woman, but she's not Italian like his mom wanted, and she's a little bit unattractive. She's very unattractive, the woman, but she apparently finds a woman that he gets along with, and he finally finds somebody. But a lot of TFLers don't find that,
What's the name of the movie again? Marty?
Called Marty, Marty,
Yeah, too.
1955.
Well, that just goes to show you how far back TFL really does go.
Yeah, but it wasn't nearly the situation it is today.
No, it's definitely
Not even
it's
close.
definitely intensified over the last.
No,
I would say over the last
yeah, and
last like
he's kind of
25 years.
he's kind of it's I don't know what inspired someone to write a movie like that, because it just wasn't normal. TFL wasn't normal in 55.
I think
Yeah.
I think the reason they did it that would be like the very, very beginning of when they
Yes,
started the
possibly.
social engineering for TFL.
Yeah, because he had Hollywood and the media and all that stuff. Yeah, it's possible. It's very possible that might have been kind of the very beginning of it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, Steve, you know that group, it's called the Animals. They were kind of
Yeah.
big in the 60s.
Yeah.
The lead singer of that group, his name is Eric Burden. I was reading a
Yes.
little bit of a biography about him, and he described. Now, this guy was born in 1941, so he was, 1950s. He was a teenager, and he
Yeah.
described his life going through school as like he described it as a dark nightmare. He was like constantly harassed and by the other kids and the teachers, and he was basically and he went on specifically about how his dating life.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. I definitely do. And
Yeah.
I think that a lot of that did play probably a lot in his life, but it was but that was a renaissance period in the 60s, and everybody was becoming famous,
Mm.
But
Yeah, it was like people.
you got to do something about that microphone. It keeps every time you talk, it cuts out.
Oh boy.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Hey, who was that guy you were talking about that was part of PUA who was all about like putting women in their place? Was the guy Hispanic by any chance?
No, his name is he's a newer PUA. His name is Casey. Is it Casey Zander? Casey Zander, Zander.
Okay. Have y'all ever? Because I was actually about to reply on there. There's actually a culture that actually happens in Mexico called machismo that is kind of like that, like where, I find it quite sick myself, where the man has absolute control over the woman, to the extent like a scenario could be, the wife goes to the grocery store and the husband will set a limit, say like you can only spend like $30 on these groceries.
Yeah,
And
but
if
that
he-
would never fly. But that would never fly in this culture, because women would just tell you to fuck off. I mean, I don't think a man could ever pull that, even a masculine man. There are no masculine men anymore. There are none. Remember that Big John guy, that tall blonde guy? He acted tough.
Mhm.
He wasn't tough.
What was his name? The big blonde guy?
Big John he went by the name what was it called? MGTOW for Truth or something. Oh, I forget what his name was. He was a Big John. Oh, he had a good channel. He had some really good stuff, but he went off the deep end.
Wait, was he the? Did he have a logo on his YouTube? Like it was like a green monster or something like that.
He was a blonde guy, about 6'6", 6 foot. He lived in a double wide, a trailer. I think he towed it around. I'm not sure if he towed it around, but he was a divorced guy that lived in Northern California or Central or Northern California, and he was like of Germanic descent. He was very like multi-ethnic, very German looking, blonde hair, blue eyes, tall. Looked he almost looked like a Viking warrior. And
Let me
I
see
think what's
Let me
that?
see Let me see what he looks like. What's his name?
Big John. Just type in Big John MGTOW, and he should pop up.
Let me see. Oh, I never seen him before.
Yeah, he had a huge like channel. He had tons of videos, and he took them. He just had a MGTOW nervous breakdown. Yeah, a MGTOW nervous breakdown is when a guy learns the truth about this, and then all of a sudden he breaks down and just can't deal with it anymore, so he just shuts his channel down.
We've had that happen several times, haven't we, Steve?
Yes, we've seen it most of their. Yeah, we've seen that quite a bit.
Yep, does happen quite often.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, it's not easy, you know. For so many guys, it's not easy, and
Yeah.
they lose it once they realize how evil this world really is.
Yeah. Bill, when you see that with that actor, you're going to think that's a crisis actor. You cannot bawl your eyes out without any tears coming out. That's just impossible. I mean, how can you cry and not have sad? I mean, if you were like really sad that someone died, you'd be bawling tears. This is so fucking fake when you see this.
Yeah, we were seeing a lot of that with that Sandy Hook shooting. That guy, I forget his name, but he was doing the same thing. He was getting up there and just pretending to cry and getting all mad, and there was no tears. It was just so fake.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Obama had those tears coming out of his eyes? There was a school shooting, or I think it was in like maybe Oregon, and he had the tears coming from his eyes, like when they were closing the ceremony, like he was. And they said, this is what Alex Jones said. He says they put some like pepper. I don't know.
Probably like
pepper.
onion. Yeah, probably like onion powder or something.
And all he had to do, it was so fake. And the tears were so fake. And CNN made it their job to zoom in close on his face so you could see it. It was so fucking fake. And even Alex Jones just laughed at it. He goes, "Oh, come on. They probably put some pepper spray on his fingers and he just touched his eye and it cost him this." It was so fake. It was not funny.
Yeah, that's typically what they do, and on movie studio sets when they're making a movie, they'll lace something with a little bit of onion powder and produce the tears.
Exactly, which makes me wonder why this guy, this crisis actor, maybe they fucked up. Maybe they should have said, "Shit, if we're gonna make a guy cry, we should make him have real tears," But there was no tears, like not one bit of snot or anything coming out of his nose. And he's bawling his eyes out, yet there's no fucking tears or no snot coming out of his nose.
Take a pair of pliers and grab him between the legs so he has a reason to cry.
Oh God!
I'm gonna help myself. I'm so tired of hearing fake tears. Here, let me give you some real ones.
Bill, this crisis acting.
Maybe have some chick shit on his face or something.
This other guy I can't stand on CNN is this Sanjay Gupta, this Dr. Sanjay Gupta. He acts real concerned. He puts on this real concerned face. This is all fucking acting. I'm telling you, this is all acting. It's all bullshit.
It is. That's exactly what it is. And we have it going on around the clock all over us now.
That Anderson Cooper puts on that fake concerned face quite well.
Exactly. He's an actor. Anderson Cooper, Sanjay Gupta, Chris Cuomo, they're actors. They're not reporting news. They're actors. And they always, I'm very concerned. No, they pretend like they're concerned. They're not fucking concerned about shit. They're multimillionaires living in palatial mansions or apartments. They're not concerned about shit.
I wonder if Anderson Cooper's success could have anything to do with the fact he was, the son of the Vanderbilt family.
Well, that's obviously a big one, and of course, Mario Cuomo's son, Andrew Cuomo, he's the governor of New York. And then Chris Cuomo is the commentator for CNN. And he's making I think $6 million a year. So this stuff is fake. I'm telling you. I don't think Chris Cuomo has COVID-19. I don't believe this bullshit. I think it's designed to get his brother in a position where he can lock down the state even further. I mean, let's face the fact. At this point, Hollywood celebrities are still living in fucking royalty. There's nothing. This is why I hate celebrities. They're the most useless pieces of fucking shit in the world.
I agree, and I wish more people would echo your sentiments, Steve.
What they are is they're useless idiots. What can I say?
They are. Even Clint Eastwood, he's a self-aggrandizing fuckhead. 90 years old, still making movies, portraying himself a hero in the movie he writes and directs. What a fucking piece of shit. He's a fucking, oh, these people don't want to give up their power. I hate these motherfuckers, these pre-baby boomers and baby boomers. They're arrogant motherfuckers. They don't want to give up their power at all.
No, they don't. You know, we were talking earlier about that. Like, if I was in there questioning Mr. Tony Blee standing next to Trump, I'd hit
Yeah.
that guy with some hard questions. And then who was it in the chat said, and we should, while you're doing that, we should have Steve questioning Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
I think I suggested that.
Well, I wouldn't specifically be able to ask her. I would just say, when are you going to cut this song and dance? We all know this thing's a song and dance. Is they're crashing the economy. This is why they want to keep the restaurants out of business. They want to drive. They're going to drive all the small business owners into bankruptcy, and there's going to be nothing left. And it's only going to be the big business. It's going to be a corporatocracy. It's going to be a bad situation in this country. It's going to be gang warfare. You're going to have to, I mean, I'll tell you what, there is going to be some ugliness going on in this country. You know, maybe this is great to be TFL. You'll be mobile. You can move around a lot. You know?
Yeah, I was thinking, you know, that money they're supposedly passing out, right? I was thinking, yeah, they're buying your rights from you. You just don't know it.
Well,
there's going to be lots of pack. The problem is you're going to have criminal packs of heterosexual males that are going to be packing in gangs. And unfortunately, they're not going to be up to any good. They're going to be guys that are looking for trouble. And this is my biggest fear. Maybe TFLers, real TFLers, the ones, not the people that use this as an emotional tampon. We need to, I don't know if it's possible, but there has to be some sort of grouping together of men to stick together, you know, law-abiding men that aren't going to, you know, look for trouble. But I think there's going to be so many. If I don't know how bad it's going to get, but you're going to have roaming gangs of thugs, and there are going to be a lot of white guys out there, and a lot of scumbag white people out there. I don't entertain the idea. It isn't going to just be the inner city. It's going to be a lot of scum. You know, they empty the jails. Going to have these piece of shit running around, and there's a lot of scumbags out there that, and they're just waiting to look for trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, big time.
And they fight in gangs. They all group. I don't know, why do scumbag people always seem to group together? How do they find each other? Do you ever wonder that? Like, how does the process work where they find each other?
I don't know. I think maybe
I know exactly how that happens. It's usually through drugs.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point there. Yeah, that's a very good point. So like they're all desperate to get their high, and they just all amalgamate. They're in a group, and before you know it, they're all looking for trouble to get their drugs set. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's a good point.
I got a story behind this if you want to hear it. This happened like
yes, I want to hear it. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I recently got out of I don't want to go in detail, but I kind of had my toes in the water, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right.
But my uncle, I had him staying with me for a little bit, and I let him use my Uber account so he can go make money. He ran into some people delivering food, and he found out that they were drug addicts and they had the drug of his choice, and he started hanging out with these people and you know, first it was a couple, then it just kept growing and growing and growing. I mean, it's almost like you know, you feed one stray cat, and next thing you know, there's 10 of them that come by, you know, weeks later.
So if you got hooked on drugs and you would be hanging around drug addicts, you'd find yourself real quick around a bunch of. You'd become part of the crowd.
Pretty much. And, you know, honestly, like criminals nowadays, I mean, you know, it's just like, you know, they're doing all kinds, like they're not just stealing anything valuable. They're stealing like everything and anything, you know, just to get that high. You know, they're stealing like phones, they're stealing, you know, anything you can name up, they're taking it.
Yeah.
And they all kind of have like their own little posse together. In fact,
well, if it starts to hit the suburbs, there's going to have to be some patrols in the neighborhoods with, you know, in my neighborhood right now, nobody's talking to anybody. I try to talk to my neighbors and I get fucking dirty. Well, no, I shouldn't say that with all neighbors, but there's a couple of people on my street I talk to regularly. But there's some people that live relatively close to me, and they're of course I've kind of known some of these people were weirdos to the beginning. It's nothing new. It wasn't like this is what broke the camel's back. I kind of knew it, but it's a weird situation when you have weirdos because I'm a very direct person with people, and I'm very honest with people. But I don't think people like direct and honest people. They'd rather deal with fucking phony people or people they don't want to be around people at all, you know?
I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Yeah,
And here's also another thing, like here in San Antonio, I mean, I'm not talking crap about women or anything like that. I'm just based on what I've seen and the people that my uncle's hanging around.
Yeah.
It seems like almost every woman and their mother is prostituted now over here in San Antonio.
Yeah, and you know that's gonna be the new trade, but I won't be buying any pussy anytime soon. I'm kind of worn out from that idea of I mean, I'm not looking for to get laid. That's a big thing. I'm at the point now where I'm not even looking to find a woman in my life. I'm kind of just, you know, I'll entertain myself to fart around with the Tinder, but even that doesn't work. I just find it to be an utter waste of time. And I think that the men and women are permanently divided. I look at a guy like Hayden, who's a very good looking guy. There's no reason why a guy his age should not have a wife and kids or a girlfriend. And it's a crying shame that even good looking guys are going without now. So I don't know what else to say. Hayden, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hayden, oh, is this Hayden I'm talking to?
No,
I'm around.
No, this is Warborg.
Okay, Warborg. Okay, yeah.
I think he
Hayden,
might have stepped.
he might have stepped out. That's okay.
No, I'm around here. I'm here.
Oh,
Hey, Steve, I do agree with you on like one thing, like, you know, to these MGTOW guys, I mean, like if it wasn't for TFL, they would not be MGTOW.
Yeah, they're not getting any action, and they're lying to themselves, and they always get like 26,000 subscribers. I've had my channel, I barely got 2,200. I'm sick and tired of the fact that I tell more truth that I get less subscribers, and these guys just come on the scene and they do a fancy channel like this guy called The Better Bachelor. He's got like 74,000 subscribers. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, what does this guy do that makes him so valuable? I've been talking about the same shit he's been talking about for 12 fucking years. You know, it's like the marketing is so fluff and stuff and phony. It's really fake.
That's exactly what it is. It's all fluff and stuff, complete lies.
Bill and I have suffered the worst in this thing. We've had the lowest subscriber rates from these people. Except in the beginning, we were doing quite well, Bill. We were getting a lot of people watching our videos, but like the fluff and stuff from MGTOW is just ridiculous.
I mean, the MGTOW is now becoming a profit business like the PUA was at one point.
Well, you know what? MGTOW is kind of fallen downhill. MGTOW's not what it was 5 years ago. It's really shit now. It's really just kind of lost its appeal. Like the really good content producers left the scene, and there were some really good ones, but I think that it's pretty much done. And I think that TFL to me is the only honest community because we're directly talking about a problem that is affecting most men, and we don't sugarcoat anything, do we, Bill?
No.
Yeah. I do have one question about TFL though. Yeah. Is TFL like? Is there like any alignment with the Black Pill by any chance?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if the Black Pill is, I'm a little confused what the difference between red and black pill is. I guess the black pill means that you accept everything as it is. I don't know. Bill, do you know the difference between these two pills?
No, not really. I mean, you know, I could care less about the pills. It's about being honest.
I think the crux of the red pill is the whole self-improvement shtick. And
yeah.
The fact that you're the problem and you need to, it's like Aaron Clarey, you know, you're a loser, you're in your parents' basement, yada, yada, yada. Whereas the black pill is more about sort of recognizing the structural flaws in society and how it creates TFL.
Well, then Steve and I would definitely be black pill, wouldn't we?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Most of us are, for the most part, black pill.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's sad. It has to, you know, but I think it's like ripping off a Band-Aid, right? Once you come to accept it, it's liberating, right? I agree that you're not going to see that MGTOW has taken a turn off the road, like it's taken a turn into a ditch in terms of original content. But I think what COVID is going to do is you're going to see a lot of new fluff content come up. Like they're going to get excited and they're going to push these live streams with tons of viewers and all these guys. Oh my God.
Yeah. That's what's happening now with COVID-19 is we're going to hear anecdotal stories of a few girls that try to hit up on men. But I think that now we're going to see is the real we're going to see the real insensitive nature. I think women are going to suffer. One thing we can look forward to is bimbo airheads are not going to have the same luxury that they had before, because they're not going to be able to get out of their fucking house and apartments. They can't go to the clubs, even if they might be able to pull some cash from some pussy whip guys that want to pay them cash, but that's about it. I don't think they're going to have any fun at the bars.
No, well, right now with the bars closed, and through this crap that's going on,
Yeah.
I think they'll get to taste a little bit, but then Hayden said something earlier. Yeah, they'll have their far away dating. They'll get their new date will be,
Yes.
wow, I got to see her face on webcam.
Bill, it's spiritual telekinesis game. You gotta have spiritual telekinesis game, dude.
Or they might have like a Zoom and kind of have like a virtual speakeasy or something.
Oh shit.
Isn't that what the guy Hugh LaTraviata pushed? He pushed like pheromones or something.
I mean, all this
He's a
VR stuff
weirdo.
that we got with the PS4 and everything like that. I think that's the closest thing people are going to go if this COVID-19 thing keeps going.
Fuck,
People are
That
going to
guy
take
was-
desperate measures.
I mean, pheromones. Give me a break.
That fucking George Bruno motherfucker was pushing pheromone soap for a while. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah,
Pheromone?
it's
What
like
was that
multi-level
about?
marketing.
Fuck off.
I would probably start an MLM company or all around pheromones for TFLers, and there'd be a bunch of new suckers join it. You'd see an exponential growth of this.
Oh, dude, you'd hit it rich. I know you would.
Oh my god. Oh.
The new Avon sales, right?
Oh yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm telling you, I could fill up a few hotel meeting rooms.
Oh, yes, you definitely could. You just call it Drunk Hulk pheromone soap, dude. You wouldn't have to be even fancy. You just call it Drunk Hulk pheromone soap. Throw together a couple of scientific studies, and you're good to go.
And I could just go to I could recruit from the, POA YouTube and MGTOW YouTube channels. I tell them everything you've been taught about self-improvement is a lie. Going forward, everything comes down to biology, basic bio, and they regurgitate a bunch of bullshit from like Thinking Ape or whatever these stupid channels are.
Oh, I'm sick and tired of people like him. I wish he would have been just honest with himself, and Thinking Ape had said he was TFL, but he likes I like how he tries to be real mystical with his deep voice. I'm a Stardust here. Or the immigration problem. He's really, I don't like that about him. He's real arrogant.
I am staying at a hotel in an undisclosed location, and I'm so cool. I have a deep voice. Yeah, yeah. What does he look like? He's like what do you say he was on a scale?
He looks like an Israeli Mossad agent. Like he looks like listen, I don't want to make fun of looks. Okay. I know it's a big thing. He's not very attractive. And I think that is probably what he's had to deal with his whole life. That's my honest opinion. But it could be other things too.
I would respect if he came to terms with that. Like, and was just honest about, stuck to his original, like you said, his earlier content where he was getting upset about that there is no longer this way of organically meeting women, and he was right about that.
Saw that woman. You saw that video too?
I did. It was a few years ago.
Yeah, it was he was wearing like a Desert Storm hat or something. He was sitting in a chair, and he was oh God, he was arrogant.
I was still in college when I saw it. I wish I had backed it up though.
Yeah, I remember that video.
Yeah.
The matches.
You know who really gets under my skin out of all these POA fuckers? There's that one guy. I see him on a lot of those YouTube ads, those skippable YouTube ads. I think his name is Scott. He's just like, this motherfucker is. His website, I think it's called bemagnetic.com or some dumb shit like that.
Yeah, there's dozens of these guys out
there.
Fuck,
man. Fuck. He's saying, it's all about channeling an inner vibe similar to the frequency of the ocean, dude.
Right.
Oh
and then you just have to subscribe. You just have to subscribe, and they're
You know what
they're
I don't like? Even if that was true, what it would tell me also is that basically none of these guys hold women accountable for their shitty behavior. A woman literally could defecate on your car, and dude, you have to game her and still respect her, dude. And you need to,
Exactly.
they have like no accountability for women. There's like women have the women have no responsibility to have certain behaviors that are complementary toward men at all. They say they use the term agency. Women have no agency. I don't like that term, but that's I guess what the term no agency means is they have no responsibility or no culpa. You know, they're not responsible for their bad actions. And it's weird because PUAs literally there's nobody that personifies pussy whip more than PUAs because they literally believe that the man is totally at fault for not being able to attract a woman. They never hold a woman accountable.
No. And speaking of poor female behavior, have you ever seen that show called My Big Fat Fabulous Life with that girl Whitney Thor by any chance?
No, I ain't seen that.
Couple times.
Well, okay, then probably best you don't go see it. She reminds me of my ex. I still have nightmares about her. You know, becoming 30 feet tall, being like, Dougie, I'm not gonna let you go fishing. I'm not gonna let you play your video games.
Yeah. This idea of taking average-looking women and making them attractive is bizarre. You know who personifies that? Is that actress, that comedian actress, Amy Schumer. She did that movie called I'm Pretty or something. I think I'm Pretty, and she basically becomes this girl that all of a sudden she just thinks she's pretty, and it's like it personifies how pathetic men are today.
Because they just buy into them.
Yes, Steve, I just wanted to ask you a
Her
question.
and Lena Dunham have the same delusion.
Okay, go ahead,
Whereas
Dave.
for men, it's the opposite. If a man thinks it doesn't matter what we think of ourselves as men, because it all comes down to like the market for us. The market determines
the market. I do believe that the market, what is ailing men in the dating scene is it is a market in some sense that whether it's artificially controlled because women are in dating limbo, it's still a market. There's just too many scrotums out there and too many guys out there. And I don't like to degrade because I really like to see that. I'd like to see all men happy. I want to see all guys find something in their life. There's nothing worse than a bunch of men that have good nature about them that can't find anybody, because it's just unfair that there's so many men out there that are just so fucking lonely.
Yeah, what did Dave want to say?
No, I wanted to ask Steve something. Steve, do you ever go on Match.com and look at women in your age category in your area and see what's out there, just for just for kicks, and
Well, I haven't done it in a while because I think I used to try to do that on Plenty of Fish, but they changed it up. You cannot search anymore without an account. They literally want to vet the men first. So what's really bizarre is but why are you? Why were you asking me this?
Well, the thing is because like we're both the same age, and I was just every now and then I do that, and it's like every time I do this, I always come across a couple of women that I know, and even a couple of women that like turned me down for dates, like many years ago, like 20, 25,
I haven't
30
run
years
into
ago.
that. That's a good point. I've never run into that, but go ahead.
Yeah, this one girl, I remember I asked her out when I was probably like 20 at the time, so like 1990 or something like that, and here she is, she's 51 years old, and she's come to find out she's divorced, and there she is on Match.com, and she back in 1990 she looked like a Corvette, like a brand new Corvette. Now she looks like a beat up old Chevy Malibu with 300,000 miles on her.
Yeah.
And she's still like putting all these ridiculous demands on what she's looking for in a guy. She wants a guy that's never been married, a guy, he's got to look like this, and he's got to have that. And I'm just kind of wondering if you've ever come across anything like that.
Well, that's what you're explaining to me is the typical 50-year-old woman nowadays, or 45-year-old woman. They all have a hit list the size of a freight train, length of a freight train.
It sounds like borderline catfishing.
Yeah.
Right.
Steve
I
Yoder,
actually had that happen to me last year. A lot of like, especially with these new apps that you're talking about, especially on Meet Me, you can use like different filters, different lighting. A lot of these girls will try to make themselves appear to look a lot better than what they really are. Happened to me last year. Went to go pick up a girl, and she didn't look like anything on the photo. So I was looking at my phone, looking at her, and as soon as she was like reaching over to open up my car door, I take off.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
didn't
they'll
even
use
mean to do it. I just got scared and I just drove off. And like, oh shit, I feel like a dick now.
yeah, they'll use a profile pitch of, from like 20 years ago.
But I mean,
Something that's just something or a picture that they just kind of filter, and just kind of, do all these special things with it, just to kind of jazz it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's true, Dave. I mean, a lot of these women, they always try to put the blame on the men for being the ones that catfish. But the reality is, it's mostly the women doing the catfishing because they're the ones that are using all of these filters.
Yeah.
Making their skin look pretty nice and smooth. You see them in real life. Oh, whoa.
Yep.
Hold on a minute.
Right.
well, I mean,
right.
we all age and whatnot, but usually women tend to be more guilty of playing down their actual weight. I think that's something they can control too. So that's worthy of pointing out, right? Whereas men aren't generally as grossly overweight and trying to,
Well,
that
even
seems to be
the thing is, even biologically speaking, nature still favors the woman aesthetically because if a woman is overweight, she still has a big rack of tits, and the majority of her excess weight goes to her hips and her legs, and it balances out her aesthetics. Whereas a guy, when he puts on extra weight, most of it goes straight to the fucking
there's
gut.
no shortage of guys wanting to whine. Like you could, these 50-year-old women you're talking about with the large list of demands. There's going to be an Indian doctor graduating from medical school who's going to fit the bill. He's going to make the income she needs to,
Yeah.
Yep, guys.
Just lining up to be the next victim.
Hey guys, I'm gonna get out of here for the night, and I'll be back up here tomorrow night.
Sounds good, Bill.
Get late
Hey.
my time, and I still gotta get up get my meds in the morning. So, but hey,
Thank you,
thanks.
Bill.
I'll jump on out here for the night, and I'll see you all tomorrow night if you're around. Okay.
Hey, take care, Bill.
Okay. Thanks,
Easy,
guys.
Nice job.
Later.